Welcome to the stream, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you're having a wonderful Friday. We're here with a little bit different kind of Friday. Usually Fridays I have community nights, but tonight we are doing Phasmo. So I have never played Phasmo. This will be a first. Hopefully you guys don't scare me so much. Thank you, Shane. Thank you, thank you. Welcome everyone in chat, and thank you so much, Lady Rain, for fixing my bot. Well, everybody's doing everything on the fly here. But I do have those who will be playing with me tonight in voice chat. I have Lady Rain. I have Legs and Momo here. My monitor's doing something weird. Okay. Haunted monitor. See if that goes away. Yeah, that was weird. My monitor did like it went to all the ants. I don't know what you call it. Static screen. I'm like, what the heck? That was my other monitor, not this one. But we're here, and I let me go grab them. And I also have your favorite today. I have some pineapple pizza. So if you like pineapple pizza, great. If you don't, I'm sorry. You're gonna have to deal with pineapple pizza tonight. Because that's what I have. Yeah. That is so jelly. Welcome, Lemon. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you. Alright, let me go get the others and start up this thing.
And I don't know.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, hi.
We are live. Let me see if I can find you guys here. Hi, live. Yeah. And we are waiting on Phasmo, so it's gonna be a few more minutes, so I'm gonna torture you guys with pizza. You have beef and broccoli plate? Ooh, that sounds good. Make sure what? I can't hear you guys. Hold on, let me turn you up.
I gotta sort through my Pokemon cards, Mono.
Oh.
Don't you know this?
Say something, Lex. Oh, don't do that! Thank you. He goes, to make me think there is no sound. Mm-hmm. I want to make sure you guys can hear him.
Like.
I have thin crust pizza with pineapple, yes. Pineapple and ham, so I'm here to troll you guys.
It's Hawaii.
Mm-hmm. 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 Hawaiian pizza. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yum yum.
Hmm?
Yum yum.
Yep. Troll you.
Yum 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 yum.
That way you don't have to see me eat pizza up close and personal. Might be kind of gross.
I need only one thing for that. If you take a bite, you hear the Minecraft eating sound.
Nom, 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 nom.
Every time.
Is that a bad thing?
No, life will
Yeah.
be funny. If you hear every time you do something in real life, you get a game sound for it. It will be funny though.
Chomp. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I also have this.
Ooh, wine.
My spooky wine cup. Mm-hmm.
I have energy and coffee.
Spooky plastic wine clip.
Glass is not good. You will break it.
You had leftover stewed
I hate
chicken?
the fact that those are plastic, though.
Yeah, I do too. But it's alright. I'm sure I could find a glass one online if I really looked, but
That's too much work.
yeah, I already own it. So I already own it, and I use it like 3 times. No, like maybe twice a year on Halloween, you know, around Halloween, that's like it. So I think I've used that glass a whole
And
3 or 4 times now, so.
yeah, I'm not
I
lazy.
definitely need more Halloween
I'm
decorations.
extreme motivated to do nothing.
Me.
That's my basic slogan.
I feel that.
Mm.
800.
When your boss is coming to, you are lazy today. No, I'm extreme motivated to do nothing.
Extremely motivated to do nothing. I like that. I'm gonna have to use that. She won't believe me.
Probably not.
Oh, you
Mm-mm.
you have a woman as boss?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, I
rare,
would hit.
actually.
I hit the ground running every day, so she wouldn't believe me.
That's rare in the Netherlands, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Both my bosses have been women.
Surprised.
It's
No, offense.
really
Not
rare
surprised.
in the IT side of the Dutch.
Mm.
Most of I have one colleague. It's a girl, and she's learning coding. And the other two women are supervisors, helping people out where they need it,
Yeah.
doing cash stuff, nothing with coding. If you ask, what does this code do?
They won't know. Momo! I got
Hello.
Phasmo.
Hi. Hi. It's
I didn't hear the
Stitch
noise for the salty command.
Stitch.
Hold on, I have to open another.
Oh, okay, there it is.
Hannah is
It's
family.
quiet.
Family. It's
I have to start a
means
different
no
game.
one has to get left behind or forgotten.
Because I
Yeah.
only had it set to 3.
My
There.
internet's being a dick today.
No.
Oh, no. No, not lemon. I burnt lemon.
No.
It's like,
Lemonade.
you should go to sleep.
Hi,
Hello,
T.
internet.
Welcome,
How
welcome,
do you
welcome.
sleep? Can you eat sleep?
No.
Uh,
Sadly, no. Uh-oh.
Here. Let me
How are you?
get you guys a new phone.
Potatoes.
That outfit on, you should put the Kimono Girl song on from Heart Gold Silver and dance. Oh no, no. No dancing. I have pineapple pizza to troll you guys. Alright, been a long night. Do you eat pineapple pizza?
Pineapple, apple pie.
TP. Get a 1 in chat for those that
there's a
eat
new
pineapple
code?
pizza.
Yeah, I had to make up another room because I only had 3 openings in the other one.
Oh,
Ah,
Kimono
cannot
in a
make-
kimono.
so I gotta join another room? Okay.
Yeah.
How do I do this? Escape?
You should hit space and then hit leave.
It says 1 minute left, but probably
Leave
still
game.
installing after that.
It's okay.
it's Steam.
Big deal.
Wow, my voice, you like.
You might be able to call O.O or Lugia.
Who you gonna call? Whoopsie. Did you make a poopsie?
No.
Shane. I have an Ho-Oh and a Lugia in my Pokemon deck now.
It's
Mhm.
stinky.
I literally just got him last week. It makes me so happy.
Ugh.
Hi, Matthew. Thank you for the lurk.
Matthew.
Cute Pipple.
Uh-uh. Oh,
Alright.
I have no cash.
Damn.
Mm,
He erased everything.
I
I
don't
had
props
a
either.
million. Boo.
How do I do that again?
It's limbo time. If
Oh my gosh.
How do you? I don't.
Humans.
I don't.
How do we scare you? I don't know. Never
So
played
where are
this
you
before.
at, Momo?
Hmm.
Boo.
Is it still downloading
Yes.
or? Okay.
It's finished downloading. Oh, I can press play.
Heck
Ooh.
yeah.
Not.
How are
full
you? I'm
normal,
doing
just
good.
Normal.
Yeah.
You wanna?
It's been asking that.
Oh, you want some pizza? Pineapple pizza, bloody?
Oh,
I think
super
I have a
cute,
message.
isn't
No.
it? Hey, I think you got a message.
Yeah,
There you go.
Jarvis told me.
But yeah, here you go. There you go.
Yum.
Yeah, all the pineapple pizza. I'm gonna eat like half this pizza while I wait for everybody to get set up. I think I almost have already. It's a thin crust. It's a thin crust pizza, and I've almost eaten half of it.
It's so funny to see how you can walk in this game.
It's really weird watching you when you're staring at the cork board. And it's like just out of focus.
Freaking!
Did you guys make those characters?
No, they're
No.
like pre-selected.
You can click on your portrait to change which person you are, but that's it.
Accept. Next.
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 Yeah, how is everyone tonight?
Oh,
Can I get a shout out for Chief Pete and Bloody?
Oh yeah, we can throw stuff again.
Why no blonde lady? Hello?
I got no control over. Oh, okay. So, what you want to do is go into the multiplayer menu.
Yeah, I'm still clicking on my face.
Thank you.
That's fair.
Thank you, Lex.
I'll just choose a different one from
You're
you
welcome.
guys, or else it will be confusing.
No, it's funny.
Oh.
It's super funny.
Burp. Okay, then I have to check. North.
So you
or
can
south?
actually change her color somewhere?
No.
What? North.
Yeah. NA.
Oh yeah,
America.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Join private game.
Yes. And then the code is in the text chat over to the right.
Oh, wait.
Are we using
I think we're going in with nothing.
Yeah.
How do I type? Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
Just
we
normal
got
keys.
basic things. One lamp, one
You are
candle.
welcome. Pizza and a kimono, right?
Brrr.
Worst part is I thought I was gonna have to answer the door dressed like
Oh
this.
my god, this is creepy!
And I didn't want to. So I got dressed at the last second.
Yay, I'm pink!
Fluffy
Yay.
unicorn.
It was meant to be! I can't see it! Move! Get away! Okay, I'll just be that lady.
So she gets to be Karen?
Yep.
That's what they told me. That's what they told me. And so I changed my character. I was like, I don't want to be Karen. Meow.
So we call that character Karen because that's what me and my friends, when I first started playing this, we all chose that character and we called ourselves the Bad Bitch Karen Club.
Right.
Where's the
And we always demanded to
light
speak to the
attached to?
manager. Huh? Just hit F.
Yeah, but the light is floating on your shoulder.
Yeah.
Hmm?
That's floating on everyone's shoulder.
Wait, do I have to buy stuff? I have 0 cash.
No.
Yeah, no, we don't have any. And then I have.
We are
everyone
prestiged
muted in there.
and you guys are new, like... We
Noobs.
don't have anything.
We're babies. So, yeah, you're gonna teach us the things.
It's
V is
boo.
going to be, well, V for Mono is the local chat, and then B is the global chat. So global is going to be talking to the ghost.
Oh, we gotta talk to Ghost?
Yeah.
Mhm.
If you say
Yeah.
the name too many times, it will be mad on you.
Yep.
Like,
And
Poltergeist?
On and on.
Something like that. So there's a bunch of different kinds of ghosts, and your journal has all of that in there for you. If you just
Let
search
me
A.
Let me warn you. Ghosts terrify me. Like,
No, that's
Oh,
okay.
we're both gonna be screaming.
yeah, okay.
All three of us are. It's gonna be fine.
I don't usually play these kind of games. It's Rain's fault.
Right.
Yeah, Legs and I teamed up.
I did nothing.
So how are you guys? How are you guys moving already?
Oh, you just hit
hit
escape or hit
escape.
space.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay.
I didn't know either.
If you look to the roof, you are cursed.
Oh, what?
Where's the basketball?
How do you get cursed
I
on the
throw
roof?
them to here and then they disappear. Oh, they are here.
I don't see any curses on the roof.
No, it's more like I'm.
Yeah, you look like you're cursed when you look
Yeah.
to the roof. It's like, who walks
Also,
around
that's
like
the
that without falling on their head?
Do you have it set to Fahrenheit or Celsius?
Fahrenheit.
Like, thank you for the learn
I have
man. Thank you, thank you, thank you,
Celsius.
thank you.
Same. So this is gonna be confusing if we need.
No,
Uh.
you need only to know the cold room. It's
Yeah.
more on your own side. Like
Okay.
if you are in a room and it's really cold, then you know the ghost is there.
But do we just say, hey, the room is cold, or okay?
No. Yeah, we can say that, and if you see like little smoke bells out of your mouth, then it's freezing. And
Yeah, so you don't
then-
even technically need the thermometer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I was gonna say if someone tells me like, oh, it's about like I don't know 60 Fahrenheit, I'm like, what? I don't know if that's cold or warm. Like it's probably
If
cold.
you see your breath, it's cold.
Yeah, but I don't
need
know what 60 is, Rain. That's what I'm saying. Like,
That's
don't
okay.
don't say numbers.
No,
okay.
no.
Again, if you can see your breath,
Yeah.
it's freezing temps, and we need to log that in the journal.
Yep. Mono, for you, if you open your journal on the
J.
G, yay,
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
you go. Yeah, I have it on Dutch. Let me check.
Nico, Nico, Nico.
So,
Yokai.
J, any of your on the top, you see evidence. That's going to be
Yeah,
where you
that
record
one.
all of your evidence.
Yeah.
So if you click one,
Oh, so like that's where it says like freezing temperatures and stuff, and you
yeah,
mark
so if
it.
you click it once, that means that is a thing that you got. If you click it a second time, you're ruling that out because it didn't exist.
Look
Yeah.
at all the types of
Like-
demons. Oh my god.
Like
The
same
ghosts.
thing with the-
you,
An
the
Oni.
spirit box is
Yokai,
the little radio thing.
Banshee.
Ghost
Okay.
orbs is only to see on a camera on the screen
night vision.
in the bush. The dots is a little projector with lights.
Yeah.
Ultraviolet is the fingerprints.
Oh.
You have your ghost riding is a little journal you put down on the ground, and the ghost is riding or painting in it. Yeah,
He
freezing
is crouch.
temperatures is easy, and EMF is that little
The thing
thing with the
that makes
lights
the
on
noise. Yeah. It's like a Geiger counter.
B is
Yeah.
to talk to the ghost.
It is.
The more ghost activity, the louder and annoying it is.
Oh.
Yeah. It changed everything.
They did.
Like
They
you-
literally
Right.
changed it all.
Yeah,
I'm gonna turn
you
off the
know
music,
that
so-
you need to level also to upgrade your stuff.
No. Well, that's rude, but I can't.
If you go to the screen here, everybody has one item. Like
Yeah.
all the items on the thing you have already.
Okay.
If you go here on
I
the
can't add
screen
anything.
and you go to loadouts, you can put all the basic things in. I have set it on auto buy and auto add.
Did you just
Every
click on
time
them?
I join. Yeah, on the plus. then you see puppets.
Yeah.
Have all the basic
Like-
things.
Everybody wants a light. If you level up to 35, then you have the big flashlight. I want that one. I hate the little.
Okay,
How do
so
I
Like-
throw stuff?
Momo needs to come
G.
over here and collect things then.
Yeah,
Huh?
if you
Effin'.
go to the screen, you click by the flashlight on the plus sign
Mm-hmm.
by the loadouts, and then
So
you
collect
click
all the
on-
things.
Are they like
Yeah,
0
and then you
euros
go-
or whatever?
Yeah,
you
just
get
hit
a
the plus
basic
signs. They're
loadout.
default.
Yeah, and
Uh.
then you go to the right
Bottom and hit
of
add.
the screen, and you see add.
It's to the right. Of
Hit
the screen.
also the auto buy and auto add. Then it's every time adding automatically.
But
You can also
um,
add.
I can add like 3 flashlights and 3 video cameras.
Mhm.
Do I need to get
Oh.
them all?
No, use one.
Okay, you can use one.
Click, click. And then I do auto buy, auto add, and then add.
Add.
Or
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
oop,
Okay.
nothing's happening.
That's okay.
True.
But
That's
the
That
normal.
magic-
we have nothing. So.
Yeah,
Oh.
we have basic things. We got one flashlight though.
Yeah.
For
See, I'm
4
scared. It
people.
says I need a crucifix up
Be
there on
fine.
the board. That's scary.
No, it doesn't. If it's got the
really,
black
yeah.
dot next to it, then yes, you'll want it. But otherwise, you don't need it.
Mm.
How do I know what I have in my loadout?
Oh, it's just automatic.
Yeah.
You're good.
You
It's
see it
everything that's on there.
on top by the little box. You see a
top?
little bus and
The
little
stores.
box.
And if you're getting double sound, you
Mm.
can turn people's volume off in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
let me. How
So
do I
go to
get
the
into
board.
this thing again?
Space.
Oh,
Click.
there we go.
Or you
Yeah,
can
or
click
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 on the
on it.
board, and then
Brooke, can you clean yourself somewhere else, please?
I let the game sounds normal for everybody because
Does everyone like
I gonna
Juan?
clip things.
I love
What
Juan.
is that?
It's a succulent. His name is Juan.
It says I have
I love
0
that
in
he
my
has a name.
storage.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay.
Everybody
There's a-
needs to ready up.
almost. We gotta wait
Mm.
for her to come over here and put everybody's volumes at 0 since
Yep.
she's in Discord. Come over the screen over here and click on it, Momo.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
And then everybody's mic volume, you need to drag it to 0.
Oh,
Or
I'm
you
just-
just hit the
okay.
little microphone.
Yeah. Mooted it. Okay. Yeah, I'm not hearing any game sound, so that's kind of weird.
I think it's kind of quiet actually.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
I could hear it when I was turning pages, but that was like it.
Am I crouching? I am I? Yep. there
Yeah.
we go.
Well, now you're not. Now you
When
are.
you
There
flip
you go.
when you
There
flip
go.
the pages of the book, you should be able to hear yourself flip the pages of the journal.
Oh wait, let me try. Oh wait, the journal is set.
Yeah, Jay.
Jay.
Alright, it's really low, but that's okay, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah. You can always turn that up too.
Oh, I don't know if you want to.
Yeah.
What I
Alright,
heard.
and Mono and Momo, when you guys are ready, you can hit ready up so we can start.
Oh,
I already did.
oops.
Nope.
There you go.
No,
Mono
you-
hasn't though.
I have. Oh, Mono,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. We good? You guys ready?
Mm.
I
No.
hope so.
We're on amateur, so it should be pretty easy. Amateur, and we're on like the very first house, so it's gonna be easy.
I hope
Yeah, it's
so.
still gonna be scary.
It is gonna be a little scary. Like scared the
No.
shit out of me while I was playing solo mode.
Oh
I
no.
wasn't expecting him to
Jumped in.
pop in here,
Hi.
and like
Yeah,
I was just trying to figure it out. I'm like,
I gave him access and she didn't know it, and he hopped in. And
Oh jeez.
I
Okay.
will try to scare you guys.
Going in.
Like,
Tanglewood Drive, where it all began.
Oh,
Bam
Jesus, no.
came from here. Oh, here we go.
Yes.
Watch what you are saying. The ghosts are listening? Oh no.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. But we have push to talk, so they're not gonna hear it until.
Yeah,
we
they can't hear us
I
until I
use-
hit.
Boo.
Okay. So we're
You
still
bud?
waiting on Mono to load in. I was trying to figure out which one we're missing. We're still
Oh,
waiting on Mono.
Says
I
90%.
have a member of your team witness a ghost event.
Mhm.
Get an average sanity below 25. Have a member of your team escape ghost during a hunt.
Okay. Okay. So over on the corkboard, it tells us Mark Carter is the ghost.
Okay.
And it responds to people who are alone.
Oh.
Oh no.
So we're
Okay,
sending
yeah.
legs in.
Mm-hmm.
Up here you have the map, so it'll tell you where everything is. It looks
Oh.
like we have to go downstairs to get to the power. Yay, love that.
Everything happens.
The bottom here for the team sanity that tells us what our sanity is.
Oh, oh no.
So as we hunt, we can lose sanity. Sound sensors, we don't have any right now. And then total activity, if it spikes all the way to the top, that's probably a hunt.
So what is that
So if you
noise
wanna
now?
watch this activity.
I just picked. Oh,
You can't turn that
What?
down.
Where's the power? there.
Basement.
How's working?
So like Scon,
It's-
he's gonna go to the basement.
Oh,
It's already on.
yeah, it's really challenging once you drop it.
Oh. got it.
Okay.
What do I do with it?
You can carry it, and we're gonna go talk to the ghosts.
What am I
Oh,
carrying?
no.
Anything? Glow stick?
You
You
can,
can
yeah, you
take
can
that
carry
thing. Yeah.
that. Yeah, because that'll tell us if there's fingerprints anywhere.
Okay, I got a glow stick.
How do
I
I
feel
use
useful. I
Um,
feel so useful. I feel like a
I
child
love
carrying
how
a glow
lights have
stick to
lights.
investigate ghosts.
oh yeah, hit F to activate.
F?
Oh.
Or wait, no, sorry. Right click.
Oh, there are cat pigs here.
Did you turn the lights off? Excuse you, sir. Alright, I have night vision
Oh.
on.
It's louder.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a clock.
Hello?
Oh, is that what she has that's making all that noise?
Yes.
It's doing.
Keep an eye out for any bones or Ouija boards.
Oh.
Oh yeah, and
Bones,
with
Ouija boards?
the guy with
This closet is doing stuff. Ew!
What?
this one. Hello.
How do you open it?
Oh, you have to hold it. Like,
Oh.
hold
Yeah.
left.
The box you have, you need to talk in game for it.
Yeah.
Have
Oh.
fun.
How do
Hello?
I?
Anyone there?
Yeah, where's everybody? Okay.
No, this one, maybe. Hello?
How do I talk in game?
I have to turn up the lights so I don't get scared.
B or
B.
yeah,
B is the talking game to the ghost.
Hello? Hello? Oh, turn on the TV.
Wait, what?
I turned on the TV.
Oh. I was like,
Who turned off the lights?
Momo, it's okay. It's okay.
Who turned off the lights? I can't see anything.
Legs, we need a light. Thank you.
Legs turn.
No.
No.
Oh, somebody just walked through there.
EMF 5?
Alright,
Okay.
out.
Run, run.
It's okay.
I saw
So
something.
we got an EMF 5. Alright, so you saw something?
Yes, I saw a shadow of a person running,
Okay.
and I don't think it was legs.
It's okay. So we got EMF 5, so that's good. We did get something.
Where did you get that?
There's
Did I
legs
get
in
the
it.
EMF 5?
Is that legs
Where
or
did I get
him?
the 5? Like, is that
Yeah,
what
how do you? Yeah, how do you know?
I got it right between the
Oh, you can see it
right
on your
in front
meter.
of the basement.
Oh, it's invasion
like a
ghost.
child who's carrying a
It might
ghost
be, yeah. Oh, wait. Who closed the door? Is that hunting?
legs.
No.
I think he's inside.
Okay. Okay, so we're
I.
good. Okay.
He scared me at first. I thought he was the thing.
Oh, no, yeah. So, let's see. So it could be a number of things still.
You need
Like-
to note the EMF5 in your journal.
Journal.
Yep.
So do we all have to do that, or just one of us?
Yes, all of us.
Oh, so I go to journal and
So-
journal evidence EMF 5. Okay, so it could be a
Okay.
spirit, a wrath, a
Wraith.
jinn, a shade, an oni, a
I wanna say
goryo,
it's probably gonna be
twins.
a spirit or a wraith at this point.
Obaka, Raiju, or Mylan.
So we don't need
Hello.
EMF anymore.
Oh, that's you. Oh my god.
Did you guys leave me?
No, I'm here, Mono.
Did y'all go back in?
I think they did. Or where are you? Ray, are you in
There's
the
no
van?
activity. I'm in the van, yeah. I'm coming.
Oh,
Oh, you're in the van.
Yeah. I got the camera, so
okay.
I wanna try and see.
So what's the goal? To like record it on camera?
Well, so the camera will tell us if there's any ghosts.
Oh, like it might be able to pick it up, even though the
Hello?
human eye can't.
Mhm. Yeah, but I can't
What is
tell.
that whip whip sound?
Oh, it's the car.
The ceiling fan, maybe?
Sorry.
Oh, the TV was making noise.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this device is so annoying. Too.
Yeah, that noise from the device is a lot.
Wait.
Oh!
that-
It's dark!
Guys. Guys,
Oh no, I don't like this.
get somewhere and hide.
Hide,
How
hide.
do you hide?
It's hunting. You gotta get somewhere.
No, it's not hunting.
It's not?
No, my flashlight is not flashing.
Okay. So.
I'm scared, Voodoo.
Oh, good God.
How do I turn off my glow stick?
Okay, guys, come on.
I can't turn off my glow stick.
Okay, come on, guys. No, you
I
can't,
can't
turn off the glow stick. Let's go.
Why is my
Dang it.
character panting?
Because you were probably sprinting.
How am I supposed to hide with a glowy stick in my hand?
It does that sometimes. Come on. You're okay.
I was starting to feel like a glow stick was a bad idea.
Why?
Well, the glow stick only tells us if there's,
Fingerprints?
yeah. Let's see, what's our sanity? We're actually pretty okay on sanity, which is...
I'm-
Oh, can you see that in the truck? I forgot you can go in the truck and see
think
stuff.
It's in the kitchen.
in the kitchen.
Because I stand in the
It's
kitchen
lying.
with the thermometer and it's dropping to 10.
Is it dropping? Okay. So, we got freezing temps.
Yep.
You want to turn the...
Nah, no, not freezing. Above 5.
Why are you laughing, Mono?
41 Fahrenheit.
Sorry, I'm turning that off. I just want to...
So how do you use the flashlight?
See if there's ghost orbs. I can't see
Wait,
if there's
Mono,
ghost
you
orbs.
dropped the glow stick.
I know, I threw it down.
Place the
I don't know how you
camera
use a
on this
flashlight.
side.
I see your shoulder light is on.
Do I...
And,
but
Yeah, I don't know how
do
to use
myself.
regular.
you can do it with F. I
Oh.
think. Can you
Oh,
turn
F?
it?
No.
no, I don't know how to do it.
How do you turn on the flashlight?
Wait, are you doing that?
No, the ghost throwing.
Okay,
Great.
so it's a poltergeist, right?
You have a chance because poltergeist throw stuff.
So let's see.
They scared me.
But poltergeist isn't on our list for EMF 5.
So it let me pick it back up.
But other
After I throw it
ghosts is
down. Other
also
ghosts.
throwing stuff.
You got it.
Yeah. A myling is known to be quiet.
I'm gonna stress eat and like
Didn't
eat
hear any
all these
noises.
pizza slices.
Can you?
I'm gonna eat
Oh,
a whole
the lights
pizza
flickering.
tonight.
I saw the lights flickering.
Did you?
Yeah, but I have a flashlight, and if the
Yeah, it's
flashlight
okay.
is flickering, Then
No,
It's
it's
the
the
hunting.
light inside
flashlight.
was.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, that
that's
does. They
okay.
do that. Yeah.
Can you
How do
throw
you use the
the
flashlight? Because you all have one on your shoulder.
There.
I guess
Yeah.
it's automatically on.
No, yeah, I gonna place the camera.
Yeah, you know
But
more about it than I do.
How do we turn it on?
be right back.
What?
The,
Our
the
flashlights.
flashlight on
Right.
your shoulder.
Oh, you can't. He's
Oh.
got the flashlight. We don't have flashlights ourselves.
Oh, okay. Even though we picked them up and supplied them, we don't really have them.
Yeah, we don't actually have them.
The ghost is here. I hear them walking.
Oh, I'm walking in here real quick.
I heard that earlier too.
Oh yeah.
Hello?
Okay. I see the temp going down.
I've put the camera here.
What if he's like in the painting or something?
Hello?
It's not.
How do I use this thing?
Can he be out the back door?
It's
That's
going
scary.
down over here.
Nope, that's me. That's me. I'm sorry.
Don't
Oh,
do
it's
that.
not freezing. Okay. Interesting. Okay, temp is going up, so it's definitely.
Oh!
Behind you! Hi!
Running
Hi!
out.
Hi!
Goodbye, people.
Bye.
We're scaredy
Are we
cats.
good? Are we safe?
We
I'm
run
standing
so
next to it.
Me too. This
You're
character's
standing
so
next to
annoying.
it?
Am I safe? Can I come out of my spot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, you can look in the camera,
It
Mono.
was-
Come.
Okay. Run! It's hunting.
Yep, it's
Oh,
starting
no.
to hunt.
No,
There
it's
it
no
is.
hunt. It's no hunt. It's
How do we
second
see?
tank.
Like, what's that blue dot?
It's a
How do I
second
switch
ghosted
camera?
So
hunt.
that's us, I think. Or no, the blue dot's the fucking glow stick in your hand.
We need to
Oh.
have the other camera and
Yeah.
do we see the little orbs? Let that on.
Oh yeah. I don't see.
If you
What is
see
that?
little white orbs, then
Okay.
it's ghost orbs. But I
Okay.
don't see anything now.
Oh, you're at
Can you throw the
55%
You
crazy.
need to have it on the green screen.
You're
Okay.
55% crazy legs.
Oh
The,
damn.
That
the
means-
spirit box is over here.
Yeah,
If that's what you're looking for.
that's my own thing. I run to the ghost when he is
Oh.
standing there.
Mhm.
Wait, what
Ooh,
are
ghost.
those? Oh, that's you.
Alright, so we're at 0 for activity.
Did you turn off the lights?
Nope.
It does that sometimes.
Okay. I see a purple dot and a blue dot walking around. I guess that's you guys walking around in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's them.
Yeah, it's the color of the person.
Oh, like mine's
Hello?
green. So is that Momo with the purple?
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm purple. Hello?
How?
So we're watching. Momo's pretty sane. Legs is halfway there.
Mhm.
I don't give a shit.
That's okay.
What were these lines on the floor? Is it just rendering?
Yeah, probably.
Don't go in there, Momo. Just kidding.
Legs
No,
is
no,
usually
fuck
north.
you!
Did you just abandon her in there? How dare you?
You just closed the door on me.
I did you love.
Ghost orbs. So we
I
took
don't want to
that
be in there
away,
alone.
And we haven't gotten any freezing temps, so.
And dots is also no thing.
Okay, so it's either a spirit or a myling.
How do you know?
So are y'all-
gonna replace that thing.
What are we marking off on the journal?
So if you double click on dots, ghost orb, and freezing temp that crosses them off, that means that they are not possible.
Because you detected all those things?
No. So you want to double click it once. You want to like slash it out completely.
Which ones?
Dots, ghost orb, and freezing temps. So you want to make sure that there's a slash. So it's usually a double click.
Okay,
Mm.
so it's
So it's a spirit or a meme?
Yeah.
I think.
Wait, so now we try the ultraviolet?
Yeah.
Mono did that actually, and it didn't work, so it's probably
Oh, so
the
you have to
spirit
check
then.
like doors and stuff for that.
Yeah, I'm already checking.
Yeah, I see that.
I see no thing. No ghost riding. It's just,
In that room that
it's
nobody
not-
goes in.
it's not a funny ghost. He's doing nothing.
No. And
What are the red are like doors and stuff you can. Okay.
So what do you do once you find the ghost?
We need to get an average sanity of 25%. I guess.
yeah,
Okay.
it does that sometimes.
No, we need it.
But we need
Have
ghost
fun.
riding for both
Yeah.
spirit and myling, and we don't have that. So,
Okay, Mono,
someone
let's
wanna
be
go
brave.
ask him?
I don't know how to ask
Will you
stuff.
go
The thing
talk
is
to the
here-
ghost?
Your whatever your button is for global push to talk, you want to hit that, and then you can say his name, which is Mark Carter.
Mark Carter?
I don't know how to pick this up again. I forgot.
Do I
Mark
need to
Carter?
Oh, got it. I want to try,
No,
but I don't want to be there alone.
your radio.
Oh, yeah.
B is?
Whichever.
Okay.
B. B should be global.
Okay, Mono, let's
Yeah.
go together.
Guys, come on.
Who shut the door?
Guys.
It's
No,
only
fuck!
I don't know how to open the door.
Ghost event.
Come on.
It's open!
Mono, move.
No, it's not.
Other way. I got it. Let go. There you go.
Oh,
It's only in
what
ghost
the fuck?
event.
Who was that? Was that you?
It was
The light's flickering in there.
Oh,
You're
it's
okay.
speaking to 10.
Oh no. Okay, so it's about time. Come on, get out. Come on.
Mark fucking Carter!
That's what I did. I said it, and it was like
Mark.
the
Carter,
door shut.
Mark Carter.
do anything?
Oh, the ghost. It was red a bit. Mark?
And it's the
doing
B button, right?
Hmm?
It's the B button, right?
Oh wait. What's mine? I forget. Yeah.
If I talk in game, you don't hear me on Discord.
I won't
I
be able
changed
to
it.
sleep.
Yeah,
Someone turn on
you
the
will.
fucking light! Scared to.
Mark Carter.
Hello.
He was right there, wasn't he, Mono?
Yeah.
I thought
I
it
don't
was
remember what
Leech for a
buttons left.
second, but it wasn't.
I stand in the fan.
So what are we supposed to do? Just talk?
Well,
Yeah.
we're trying to provoke him,
With
but
with the radio thing,
yeah,
see ahead. You
What
need to go
happens when we speak to
inside.
him? Will he talk back?
it can.
Hey.
It's possible.
But
You
it
need
turned
to
red
go
for a
to
bit.
the-
Here,
You need to go
Mark.
Here,
to the kitchen.
drop it down. I'll take it. If you just hit G.
I don't know how. Wait. Okay. Oh, there you go. I'm scared too.
Where's the kitchen?
Mark, are you here?
There's green stuff over there.
Yeah, that's our dot projector. But I
Mark,
don't
are you
see
here?
anything on it.
Okay, that's me. I'm scared. Okay.
It's a ghost event.
I said one step inside and it turned dark instantly.
It's a ghost event. It's doing nothing. It's
What?
Three.
Okay.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Why is the light out?
I don't
Because he
know.
turned it off.
Oh,
This fucker.
Does
he
the
is
ghost
for
turn it off?
sure.
Yes.
oh.
so
did the
how do
go-
you turn the lights back on?
You have to look at the lamp, and there's like a little light bulb on your cursor turns into a light bulb.
Mhm.
Yeah, but you haven't chanced
Ooh.
that he turned off the whole lighting.
The breaker.
Yeah, the breaker.
The moon's pretty.
So how do
But
you
he
get?
did not.
Okay. I said one footstep inside, and he turned it off. This fucker. He's around here. He's around the corner. I'm sure.
He's near the entrance.
He's near the
No,
entrance.
he's
Yeah, we
not.
saw him, didn't we, Mono?
No, he's in the
He,
kitchen.
yeah, he's haunting in the kitchen.
Okay, then I can turn on this light.
Freezing temps.
Did it?
Okay,
I've smoked.
okay. So then it's not a spirit. It's either twins, shade, or Jinn.
Wait, what?
But we marked everything
smoke-
off.
Yeah, smoking temps.
What?
So he saw his breath. So we have freezing.
Oh,
temps.
freezing. Okay.
Oh.
It
So
was
then
a
we wanna
guy.
exit.
I think it was a guy, like Shade or Jin. I didn't see two people. It was
So that's the thing about the twins is they
Oh.
can interact in the environment at the same time. So they could be in two separate places.
Oh my god, no.
Oh.
Why did we get
Yes.
such a horrible one?
No.
So it could not be a twin. It's fine.
Who
Oh.
have the box? That
It's
you
on
need
the
to speak?
desk.
Ah.
So Jen
What
will
was
have
this
the
in there?
ultraviolet.
Oh,
Twins will
I
have
think
spirit
he's in
box.
the living room now. The light was flickering.
And Shade will have the ghost writing, which we don't have any. So.
Let me check. What is the name of the ghost?
Mark Carter.
Mark.
I'm just gonna look through the camera because I don't dare step inside of that fucking. Oh, I see the freezing temp. Yep, he there.
Yep.
He's in the other corner.
Yep. Oh, it's gone up a little bit. We're at 8. Oh, wait. Oh, that's him. Okay. Oh, yeah, you want to turn that back on?
Yeah, I just want to see the difference. If there was a.
Where is he at?
Is that your shade or his? Like, that's creepy.
Oh, that's cool. You
Oh,
can see the
that's
screen like
his.
that.
Well, that's.
It's not the ghost box.
So that's the camera he has on?
I'm standing the whole time.
Yeah.
Mark Carter, are you here? Mark Carter,
Oh.
are you here?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Interesting.
we have to do the
Oh, it's increased. Where'd you
spirit
go, Mono?
box.
Right here and the
It's not the
Oh,
spirit
you're in here.
box.
Oh, that's right. You're
So
in here.
okay,
Good.
so then it's Jin or Shade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did the ultraviolet do something?
We didn't see anything.
No. But it can also be ghost riding or dots or
But you
the
didn't see any dots, right?
No.
the ghost orbs not, but I can read
All dots.
The dots.
Yeah, we saw the
Yeah.
dots, but that's the
All the
machine, I
projector
think.
dots?
That's the
Yeah, but you want to see its shadow in the dots. Essentially, you want to see like a blockout of the dots from it.
Oh, I did.
What's
Like,
the
there was like
event
dots in the
on
bottom
there?
corner and then the bottom right and then like nothing in the middle.
Oh.
When was that?
Like when I said, what's these green dots?
Oh no.
And you're like, oh, that's nothing. We did that. And I'm like, oh, okay. I stared right at the thing.
Then it can be Oni, right? Oh, look,
It
the
could be.
freezing is back.
Yeah,
Boo.
he's gonna have it. So he's gonna move it. Oh,
there
oh,
he is,
oh
I
God,
saw it.
he's right behind you. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We got dots.
Yeah, dots.
Yep, we saw
Okay.
all the dots.
So it's Oni.
Hell yeah.
No, you
Alright.
go to the second tab. You see ghost. You go to Oni, and you can see what the Oni do.
So,
Oh.
Onis love to scare their victims as much as possible before attacking. They are often seen in their physical form, guarding their place of death. Their
Oh.
strength is Oni are much more active while people are nearby, and will drain their sanity faster when manifesting.
Yeah.
Weakness is they will disappear less often while hunting their prey. So, because we were all in there, we were.
That's the reason
We were
my
what?
sanity is so low.
Yeah, because
stand,
we were surrounding you and it was going after you.
Oh.
I stand.
You were
I
standing
stand.
closest.
Yeah, I stand like, hey, ghost. I watching it like, hi.
So are we good? We wanna go? We wanna leave?
Should we try to get the sanity below 25% of everybody?
Yeah.
Oh, get an
Oh god.
average. An average.
We don't have to.
Oh,
We
okay.
don't have to. And we
It
don't
will
have
be
like
funny though.
those are just bonuses. We don't actually have to do them.
Okay.
It will be funny.
Oh, and these are
Alright.
more tasks.
Oh yeah, those
Oh.
are our daily ones.
Yeah.
So discover ghost type, reach 0 sanity. Hey, you wanna go finish that?
Which? 0?
Bye.
What happens if you
oh,
die?
I dropped it.
Don't you get points or?
So if you're at 0 sanity, you don't die.
What
No.
happened?
I guess we'll find out what happens.
How
Okay, Mono,
low
you wanna be
your
brave
sanity?
together?
Yes.
If your sanity
go.
is
Hold my
low,
hand.
then
Where are you?
the ghost is
At the door.
more
Is
often
you? Okay,
hunting.
I'm coming.
Oh, it hit.
Let's go stand in the kitchen together. Okay, one,
God.
2, 3, let's go.
Where's the kitchen?
Here.
That's where the black dots are. I don't want to go in there.
Going
Why
in
is it
there,
dark?
go.
Because
I
the
saw
light's
your
out in there.
flashlight. I saw your flashlight, Mark. Or, I mean, Mark. Leech. I'm scared to go
Mark
to the kitchen.
Carter.
Yeah, no, I know he was there. I saw your flashlight flip through the door.
Oh my god, your light scared me.
You.
Don't do that to me.
It was funny though.
Oh. What if he's downstairs?
Oh,
I'm scared to go downstairs.
The living room light was flickering. Where are you at, Momo? Are you
There's
still in the
like zero
kitchen?
I'm
activity.
right here. I'm trying to find the light here.
So you
but-
guys
You're
are
in the
currently at
dark?
0 activity. You're
Oh,
okay.
I think he's coming.
You're safe. No, he's. Oh, okay. It's spiking a little bit, but not a lot.
Yeah, but I
You guys
saw
are
the.
good.
Why are you turning off the light, Lynch?
You need
It's easier
do
to
that.
see. It's easier
Yeah.
to see things.
Oh.
Yeah, so we can see everything in night vision on the camera.
Okay, why is there one green dot in the kitchen? Is that a appliance?
No one likes it.
No,
The
Oh, there's smoke.
pretty low.
It's freezing. It's freezing.
You're okay. You're fine. I'm
There's
watching
freezing in the
global
kitchen.
activity.
How's
Okay,
my
so okay.
sanity?
saw my breath.
Oh, you're at the highest with 91%.
Yeah, I know. I was a scaredy cat. I didn't do.
I
much.
can see my breath.
Hi. I saw my breath too.
Viper.
Yeah.
So you're at 29%. Our average is 69. Nice. Oh, it's going up. Okay, activity's increasing. Just a little bit, not too much.
Oh, there's a thermometer here even.
Guys,
yeah,
it's
I
a 10.
think that-
What? It's what?
Activity is a 10.
What do we do?
It's hunting. And no, it's not.
Freaking
You guys are okay.
No, go! I'll open it. I'll open
Just-
it. Move!
Don't close the doors.
Leech keeps doing
Door. Legs. I don't know how to use the door yet. Streaks for days.
Yep. Streaks for days.
How do you use the door? I need to learn this lesson.
Click it and swing it.
Yeah. Click
I
it and swing
clicked
it
that.
whichever way you need.
Oh, clicks it and push and pull. Okay.
Yeah.
I felt like such a child. I can't even open and close the door. I'm strapped if you close the door. I'm a 3-year-old. I can't reach the doorknob.
Oh wait, we were trying to get a sanity below
Oh
25.
hey, it's at a 10 again. Oh no, is it hunting over there?
Hello? I don't know.
There it goes.
Hello?
Oh, you saying hello is definitely getting it to go up.
Hello?
Mark Carter?
Oni?
Oh, and then it dropped significantly.
It didn't like its name. Hello!
Mark? Mark? Why is there a journal on the floor?
Yo, Mark.
There's
It's
a journal
no
on
Shut
the
up.
floor.
No, it's a
Oh.
painting.
Oh. That wasn't there before.
Hello. Marky Mark.
Wait, did it... Oh, oh, it's just the portrait.
Coffee. Yeet.
Wait,
Mona,
You
look. Get picture.
can take the picture off the wall. It's a kitty cat.
Yeah.
Aww. It's a kitty cat.
I bring it to the van. It's mine now.
Mark.
Mark, are you there?
I heard a cough.
Oh, someone said hi. Who was that? What
Somebody said hi. Legs.
Wie doet je? So mean.
Guys.
Mark.
Mark, go below.
It's 0.
Mark. Huh?
Do we have to go back in?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
at 0.
These gates are the lights.
But all the lights are off. I don't know what to
You
do.
guys gotta just hit the fucking switch
Just
Where are the switches?
on the
on the
wall.
wall.
You know to find this light here, and then I don't. Ooh!
it's
Now all of a
on
sudden you realize how dirty your monitor is, because in the dark you look like you see things. You just stuck your head through the wall.
You guys are okay. Activity's pretty low.
Oh, I hate that the light for the kitchen is around the fucking corner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got it. Oh my god!
Alright, activity seems to be increasing a little bit, but you guys are okay.
Mark?
He really is upset about that corner.
What corner?
Like right in the kitchen.
Follow.
Yeah,
This one,
he is
right?
here. He is here. His first spawn position was here.
Yeah.
That's the reason we get
Marco.
-5.
Freezing again.
Yeah, the
I have a knife.
Ghosty ghost, where are you?
the
Hello?
activity's pretty low.
I want
Anybody
a knife
home?
too. Give me a knife.
Mark.
I found it.
Okay, I have a fork.
Oh my
I will stab you with my fork.
There's no activity currently.
I have a coffee cup.
Nice. Does he like the dark?
Okay, so it's picking up a little bit. No, picking up some more.
I threw the coffee cup down the
It's
stairs.
not terrible.
I threw the coffee cup down the stairs. Maybe he didn't
Does the
like
light
that.
need to be off?
It's
No, don't turn the
better,
light on.
Oh.
because your sanity is draining when you.
You guys are okay. It's just an event. You're okay. You're okay.
What do you mean?
It's just an event.
He was coming.
You guys are
Oh my
okay.
God.
It was just an
I'm
event.
breathing and my heartbeat.
Breathe. You guys are alright.
It didn't roll in my ear!
Right?
Legs has no sanity.
I stand there.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's okay. It was
That's-
literally one little spike.
Yeah,
Okay.
he wants to get me
Oh, that was
because
so scary.
I was the lowest. Now if Mono goes in, he wants Mono.
Yeah.
Oh, because?
I go
Yeah.
to watch
Yeah,
the
the one
camera.
with the least
I want to
sanity
see
is gonna
that.
go.
You wanna try Mono?
Alright, hey, can I have
Mark. Mark?
Marky Mark?
Hello.
Have fun with it.
Anybody home?
Close the door.
Alright, I'm coming in, guys. Yes, it can, if it's hunting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Even
me
if
breathing
we're
that out.
standing in. Oh my god, what the fuck?
It's a ghost event. It's fine.
Yeah. At the moment,
What does that mean?
the door closing and you can't open it, then it's hunting.
Yes.
What does
Then you
ghost
need to
event
hide
mean?
in closets,
I don't know.
other parts
Okay,
of the
okay.
house.
But if you're standing in front of the door, can it still close?
You have to
Yeah.
hold it shut. But yeah, you have to hold it shut.
Hold it open, you mean?
That's no thing
No.
anymore.
Okay, it's hunting.
Yeah, it's hunting. It's a
Where'd
10.
it go?
A straight 10.
How do I get out?
I think we have to
Hide.
hide, but I don't know how.
Nope.
You have to hide into a room and close the door.
Yeah.
You'll die.
You
I
need to
can't get
hide in
out.
a room.
How do I close the door?
Don't go towards it.
I
It's
don't know where
done.
it's at.
It's done.
Flashlight.
Yeah. the
Okay,
door
we're
is
good. We're
already
good.
open.
Okay.
I can't
Alright,
see
so-
crap.
This room, help!
All right, guys. Where are you?
I'm
I don't
in the
know.
room next to the
Which-
close to the door, close to the.
Oh,
Okay, come on.
it
I see a
was.
light.
It was hunting Mono.
Okay, Mono, are you
Mono
still in?
is, Mono
I
is
couldn't find my way out.
Okay.
almost
Oh my God,
on
hi.
55.
Okay. All right.
Or 5. Yeah,
that was
Mono is
definitely
the
a small
closest
hunt.
now.
But we all escaped. Why didn't it?
Yeah, cause we hid
Yeah,
or whatever.
I
Sometimes
reached
that
it.
happens.
You have 0. What does that mean?
I reached 0
Uh,
sanity. I got 50 bucks.
Nah.
You get money for being insane?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, it's a task.
Hmm.
But we just escaped the hunt, right? Why didn't we get the check mark?
I think it
because-
wasn't out on a hunt.
It wasn't a full hunt. It didn't succeed. It wasn't close enough essentially.
Mm.
It has to be so close to you and you have to be able to get away from it. Essentially,
Oh.
that's what it means to escape the hunt.
It's really dark in the house right now.
Yep.
In the kitchen, not.
What?
If you are scared on this part,
Yep.
like if you play the insane mode, it's.
Oh,
like
something
insane.
in the kitchen moved. Is that a
Oh
shadow?
my god. I don't know.
Probably a
Maybe.
shadow. But I
Do you
wasn't
have a
in there.
flashlight, Mono? Oh.
I'm not in the kitchen. I'm in the vehicle looking at the camera of the kitchen.
I had my light in there.
Rain was shining her flashlight in the kitchen.
That might be what it is.
The door closed. It wasn't me.
The light's flickering.
Okay,
Oh,
God.
there's something in the kitchen walking around. I can see it. It's in the kitchen. It's heading
It's
toward the
hunting.
hallway.
I want to see. I want to see.
No, it's not hunting.
I saw it.
The door closed. It wasn't me. It closed right in front of me.
It's okay. We're okay. It's not hunting
It
anymore.
left the kitchen, by the way.
Okay.
I go outside, otherwise it will hunt every time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did I escape it? No.
Somebody turned off the
Okay.
kitchen light.
I heard like.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I hate that sound. Well. Alright, Mono.
I saw it walk across the camera.
Hmm?
Because it kept fading in and out as it was
Yeah.
walking.
Mm.
And it walked through the kitchen and left the kitchen.
Yeah, it does. It'll spawn where it's at, and then it'll follow you.
Bring the ultraviolet thing with you. You have a little bit of light.
Oh yes, thank you. Was it meant for me? I'm not.
Yeah.
It's for
Oh.
someone.
Oh, I
If
still
I
don't
go
understand what
inside
the
and
objective
wait-
is here. I don't know what we're doing.
At this point,
Uh.
we're just trying to bring our sanity down a little bit.
Oh, okay. I can do that.
Let's get one of our things.
The average needs to be on
25.
25.
Does this? Oh, the door closed again. I can't get in.
He
It's
is
locked.
hunting.
Yeah.
I hear him.
Hide in a room.
Fuck!
You're
I'm
dead.
dead.
Door opened again.
He killed me.
You don't have sanity anymore.
Yeah,
Nice.
I
I
don't
hid
know
in
what
the
to do.
closet closest to him. You guys are okay. I'm
The
dead.
phone rang again.
Oh, my body's beautiful.
We got it. We got it.
Yay!
We got it. What do you mean?
Yeah.
The 25.
Somebody
Yeah, 'cause I
save
died.
me.
It's
Where
hunting
are
again.
you?
Was it?
Oh, Mono. You're
That was
fucked.
Yeah.
fun.
Mono has 26.
Oh,
sanity.
where?
I'm scared.
Okay,
are
I'm,
you?
I'm glitching the. I'm glitching
I can see moving or somebody. I see somebody on the camera, but I can't see in the kitchen. There's no lights in here.
I'm trying to glitch the brake lights
it's
through
op-
the door.
Okay, it's
Open
okay.
again.
Oh.
Come
Can
to
you
the
turn
door.
on the kitchen light so I
Where's
can
your
see?
body?
Here.
Oh, I don't have an.
Can somebody turn on the kitchen light?
Camera.
Oh, I
I'm
can't.
turning on
I'm
the
dead.
light.
Can somebody turn on the kitchen light?
Mm.
Where
Nope.
you at?
Just
Hey,
run.
Mono.
You are on 20 sanity.
Oh, I hear him.
Oh my god, it's here! I'm dying! I'm gonna die!
No!
I'm
Momo!
Are you good?
Dad?
Oh my god, it's so scary! Why can't I get a hiding place?
I'm
It's
here.
hunting.
Yeah,
Sweet.
it is. I hear it. Oh, there he is.
Oh,
Close the
Mono, I'm
door.
glitching through you.
Mama,
Close the door, you idiots!
I'm scared.
Oh my
close
god.
the door. I can't see
It's
anything.
gone.
How am I
Come-
supposed to close the
Come
door?
outside. Come,
Is it
come
still
outside.
hiding?
Come on, guys,
Hunting?
go outside, go outside.
No. It's
You
I
wanna go
can't
outside?
see nothing but a freaking black screen. How am I
I can't
supposed
help
to
you
see
guys, I'm just a
anything?
spirit. You guys are going the right way. Okay, keep going. Alright, Mama.
Somebody needs to turn on a light.
Mama! You're okay, Momo. You're okay. You're still
Oh,
alive, it
this
was-
looks
is
like.
not my game. I see a car.
You're okay. Hide.
I
I
can't
see a
see anything in the house.
leader.
Okay.
Leader, are you still alive?
yeah.
Yeah.
Can you help us get out?
I made it out.
Legs, you're gonna have to help her.
Mama, you're in there by yourself.
I
Go.
can't do
I'm
anything.
scared,
Left.
man. And the spirit. Oh,
The door's shut. Her door is shut.
And
I can't get it
Yeah.
open for her.
I hear lots of doors.
you open it yourself. It's hunting.
Yeah, it is.
I'm
Go
hiding.
up.
I'm trying to
Oh,
hide.
keep the door closed. Keep the door closed.
I don't know what to do. I'm scared. I'm looking
Close
down.
your door.
I can't. I can't. I'm looking down. I hear it.
I see it.
Just stay quiet. Just stay quiet. Okay. Okay. Okay.
It's done. Okay,
Stay
go
crouched.
go to the door, open it, walk a little bit straight ahead, and
Can I
then
do it now?
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You're good. You're good now. You're
You
good now.
need to do it now. You are on 0 sanity.
How do I open this door for her?
And then there we go.
Let's go. Look at your sanities. That's the
Yeah.
reason he is hunting every time.
We have escaped the ghost hunt. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Can we go home now?
Yeah.
This house is haunted. Yep, check. Mark it out. Done.
Did you mark the Oni?
Wait, let's.
I
I
have,
think
yes.
I did. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
also
Is that what I'm supposed to do?
Yes. In your
Yes.
journal, make sure you mark Oni.
Like the circle, right?
Yeah. Just circle it.
Oh, that was so scary. I had a relaxing bath earlier. Everything gone.
You might need another one.
Oh, my neck is like so, like, tense.
Oh no. All right.
Yeah, ready? There we go.
So how do you decide when you're done? You just mark it and move on?
Yeah,
And
when
then
you
you
get
click
enough
here.
evidence,
How do you know you got it right?
it tells you. Don't worry.
Oh.
We just gotta wait for it. All right.
Type
So we
of
got the
ghost,
correct ghost
Ani.
type. We didn't find the
No
bone.
Bone evidence.
I lost 50%
Yeah.
because I died, but yay.
Level up.
Yep.
400 XP.
Level 3.
I'm
I
level
can
2.
buy I can buy the camera, but I
Yes.
get also 450 bucks.
Can I
I'd
have?
say I'm level 3 as well.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Let me buy the camera. Then I can let me do it.
So we all have
slow.
flashlights, but we can't
Buy
use them?
that.
So you have money now, so you want to buy things.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a flashlight. What is the difference between the big one and the tiny one?
The tiny one is your dots.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I already have
You
a
need-
flashlight. I just don't know how to do it.
I mean, I had auto buy on. Oh, you can get a photo camera.
Flashlights are your friend. Buy and then add. Okay. I don't know how to use them though.
Alright. I have.
I don't know how to turn them on and actually use them when I'm out. Equip
why
is
do we
T.
have 2 extra video cameras? Do we want that?
Doesn't do anything right now. Is that normal?
It will be okay.
Okay. Now I added a photo camera. So we got 2 photo cameras, 4 flashlights, 4 video cameras. Alright, so.
Same house of another house.
What do
We
you think about prison?
can. No. Okay,
I
if
hate
you
It's haunted me
I
enough.
absolutely hate prison.
if you want to do the prison, then we go to the school.
Yeah, no, thank you. Hate the school. Absolutely hate the school.
Or the mental hospital.
No hospital.
Nope. Let's see.
Like
I need more
the
alcohol for
hospital-
this.
The hospital is almost the
When
biggest
you have it
map in
Ooh.
the.
in your
Well, we
inventory.
should do,
I'm just gonna play hacky sack.
Farming house?
let's do 13 Willow Street. I like
So
13
how do I-
Willow Street.
I thought the farming house. It's
So
funny
you
with
hit
the wood.
T to equip here.
You can
I
also
got it.
see the rooms if you click on the or hover
Yeah.
over the pictures. You see how many
Yeah.
rooms.
Willow Street
And-
has 10. It's got the least.
Yeah, it's smaller than the other
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
How
like
did
that
I get
idea.
level 3 and mono? Oh wait, you got it too. It was slow.
Mono is 3.
Same.
Boo-hoo.
So now he's nuts.
Before I prestiged, I am 148.
What?
What? Y'all are
Made
voting?
it topple already.
The more you play, the more moolah you get to buy stuff and upgrade. But I haven't got to use any of my stuff anyway. I don't even know how to use stuff.
Because we put it already in. If you look at the board, you see the dots on the equipment list. If they are 2 dots and both they are black, then you have it already by someone else.
Yeah.
Like you share your stuff.
Yeah.
It's a good game. Like you share.
We should each have our own flashlight, though. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a 4 now.
Okay.
Can the ghost see the ultraviolet thing?
I don't know.
No idea.
Oh yeah, funny thing. If the ghost is hunting, you need to put out your flashlight. Otherwise, it will come to you. Same,
And it still
same
managed
thing.
to find me.
One tip: don't scream, because the ghost is hearing you when it's.
Well, they
hunting.
can't hear me unless I push the B button, right?
Right? I thought so.
It activates automatically for the ghost.
Fuck no.
Oh.
I have it turned off to do that.
It's an coding thing in the game
Oh.
itself. Like the
Oh my god.
when you talk, or you scream or something else, only the ghost can hear you. Nobody else. Only the ghost.
Well, I'm fucked.
You scream every time.
You do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, I got one!
Good job.
I
Only
like this
Mono
part
needs
better.
to ready up.
I did.
Yeah.
If you are. Yeah, MonoKat.
The other Mono.
You can do it from here, actually.
Yeah,
right?
you can hit space.
Oh.
Pink
Yeah.
fluffy unicorn.
Why is the fourth square like underlined and for is that like it's
Yeah.
Because you added it.
Rain's hosting, but yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so you guys ready? Oh, no,
No.
not Momo.
Mentally
Legs.
no.
I already ready up, I thought. Oh, okay, we gotta ready up again. Mono! Stop hitting the button! Momo!
It's blue.
Oh my god. Alright, let's go! We're in a smaller place this time, so.
Okay.
Wait.
Oh.
Make it funny for myself. Wait.
It just
I
said
gotta
what
make
we
it-
were saying earlier. Watch what you say. The ghosts are listening.
You are special.
Make it funny for
Mhm.
myself.
Know it.
Yeah, I put the light out. Let me take a flashlight. I want to take a camera.
How do you turn a flashlight on and off?
Yeah, or you take it in your hand and click right mouse.
Oh, right mouse button. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, you hold it?
It's not
No,
working again. F is not working.
it's not working.
They removed that.
It's
Okay.
working for
Button.
me.
Not for me.
You know, don't
I hope I actually pick it up.
I would.
I thought I had it.
For the other people, it's T.
Right click for me.
How do you use the camera?
So we want EMF,
Good question. But we
escape a hunt, and
don't
witness
use it
an
for
event.
everything because you have a certain amount of pictures.
Yeah.
I got one slice left after this. I've literally ate this whole medium-sized thing crust pizza. I'm stress eating.
What?
Alright, make sure.
Martin.
Yep, I got the key for the house.
Oh,
Yeah,
sweet. I may need more.
you have the thermometer.
Yep. Yeah, okay, so just so you guys know, we cannot hide in the front room. There's no place to hide in here.
Mm.
And it's a glass door.
I'm gonna hide anyway. I suck at it.
I guess this is the first time I go to this house. Oh no, second time.
I got a small EMF over here. EMF 3.
There's no light.
Yeah,
Stuffed crust. That's like my favorite.
good to know. You have the
Evidence of the EMF. So did that
Yeah,
Are
do
you
it?
like crouching
you
through the
have
house?
I am. I like to crouch.
Oh, one thing, we have 4 minutes to find the location without hunts or other things.
How do I put down the camera?
Okay,
too?
so we have 4 minutes before it'll start hunting, essentially.
The
Or-
chance,
Hello,
like
hello.
on amateur,
Thank you.
have a counter, and the counter is set on 5 minutes.
Right.
It starts counting when you open the door, the front
Gotcha.
door for the first time. Then you have 5 minutes to find the location of the ghost.
Right.
Like
Hello?
thermometer, and it's in the kitchen again, I guess, because in the main room, yeah, it's kitchen.
Thank you.
Like here is the thermometer going down.
How do I put down the camera?
With F.
Can I just put it anywhere? Oh.
Yep.
Huh. I don't know how to open doors. Oh, that's the basement. I'm not going down there.
Why do these houses have basements? I'm never gonna look at a basement the same again. I'm
Same.
scared.
I've never liked cleaning in a basement.
I threw my coffee cup down there earlier. I was like, no. Sure, it's a yep.
Hey, look, there's a cat toy over here.
These flashlights are useless. I'm telling you. It's like my batteries are low.
There, I'm gonna put the camera on another place. It's more
But we have like 3 more, you know that,
I'm
right?
gonna send you a
Yeah.
video later. You will think she was praying. Oh no.
They removed the function that you.
We'll
can,
eventually play a couple games and you'll
turn-
freak out. Oh god.
Hmm.
The doggo! And a kitty.
Is the notebook like for the ghost writing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll bring it.
But if you hold F when you place it, you
Oh,
see
there's some activity in here, guys.
circle
Mhm.
around yourself.
Guys, there's some activity by the fireplace, like some EMF
Yeah.
activity over there.
Hello?
But it's in the kitchen. I know that because I was standing.
Alright, click on the music box, Kimono.
It was dropping again there. We have 1.5 minutes to find.
How do I click on it?
and Put stuff up.
I put the notebook here, but
Alright,
oh, there's
I
a
need
music
someone-
box. Oh my god, I see him! It's a butcher!
It's an okay.
I
You need-
clicked the music box, I didn't like that!
That's the thing.
How do y'all pick up things when you're holding a flashlight? Do you have to put your flashlight away? How do you do that? T?
Guys, he was holding like a
Yeah.
Yep.
slashy knife, like a butcher
Oh,
knife.
God. Yeah, some of them do that.
Oh, okay, there's more than one?
The breaker is down.
Oh, shit. And it's in
Where's
the
the
basement, isn't
breaker?
it?
I
Let's see,
don't
let's
know.
We'll
find out.
scroll to move objects. Oh! Oh, okay, thank you so much.
Oh,
It's in the basement.
we got 2 things already.
Oh, we witnessed the ghost event and we got the EMF, yeah. I knew the EMF.
So we can go in the journal and mark those?
I
Okay.
don't see
No,
ghost
those are
or-
just the things for us. We didn't get a 5
Yeah.
EMF, but
We did get freezing, right?
Nope.
Oh.
no.
How do you get to the right page and then is this journal different than the other one?
Jen
Now-
hit evidence.
I don't
And what
see
did y'all mark? Anything?
No,
Nope.
nothing yet.
Oh.
Nothing yet.
You
Why
see the
is
counter?
spirit like already
over?
circled in my book? Is that a static thing?
No,
on the
it's
basic.
just a auto thing.
Default weird thing to confuse us.
Okay,
Yeah.
so guys, the music box, I picked it up and it's closed now.
Right.
I can't open it again.
Oh,
True. It's a
that's
cursed
okay.
item, I guess.
Should I
Oh.
throw it back in?
No.
No,
Oh.
you should take a picture of it though, right? Is that
Oh,
a
Yeah,
okay.
drop
thing?
it. Drop it.
I want to take a picture. Wait.
I have
Drop.
the camera already in my hand.
Same.
I have the picture.
No.
You can take a picture also.
Okay, what do I do with it?
You see, if you go to the
Nope, that's not evidence. Just objects.
yeah, you see
It has
music
Ghost
three
orbs?
stars.
Yeah.
Is that what I see on the screen? Is ghost orbs floating around?
Oh yes, you
Yeah.
see ghost orbs. Yeah, those
Really?
are ghost orbs.
Mm.
Nice.
Sweet.
Thank you, Bloody.
We like
Bloody
ghost
did that.
orbs.
How do
Oh.
you
Heck
see that?
yes. Chat help is great.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we miss
Ghost
things.
orbs.
Well, we're new, so we're staring at things that we don't even know what we're staring at.
I also haven't looked at it yet, so.
Who's gonna go inside with me?
No,
No,
I'm scared.
No.
I put the
I'm gonna
notebook
crouch,
down
though.
at the front door. See if he's written anything. On
No,
the
Not
you
kitchen.
running
need to put it in the kitchen.
Oh.
Who's messing with the
Okay.
camera?
I see my breath. We got freezing temps.
Okay.
Mm.
Bye.
So it's a
Revenant,
Revenant?
Dry,
Mm.
Hantu, or Onryo.
Yuri, Hantu, or Onaro, Yo, or whatever that word is. I can't say these words.
The what?
Yure.
Breath only means that it's the ghost room. Unless
freezing.
confirmed with thermostat. Oh, you have to confirm it with a thermostat that is freezing temps.
No.
No, you don't have to. Not usually.
I want to try it with the box, but I know it will kill me.
Yeah, better.
More ghost orbs in the kitchen.
That's a good thing. I gonna put a notebook there.
Oh, Bloody says they changed the breath thing with the update, and you have to confirm it on the thermostat thing.
That's stupid. Do we have a thermometer in there?
Mm-hmm. I think it's sitting right here on the kitchen next to the camera.
Okay.
I'm scared because it was right here at the door when I got it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
below 0.
Okay. So, freezing temps.
Mm-hmm.
I think it still counts.
Yeah.
Breath means it's the correct room.
No, because before it dropped below 0, before that we had the room already,
Yeah.
and only in that room you have that effect. But
Like, this is already at 66%. Or
Yeah.
69,
I'm
67.
I'm standing solo every time in the
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
You're the only man here. You gotta, make up for our
He's gonna protect us.
scaredy catness.
Noobs. I don't wanna make me unfollow what you're trying to do, bot. What?
Oh, there's a little sticky note on the board.
That's so cool. I love the picture of the tile.
Yeah, bot's trying to trick you.
Oh,
But yeah, I literally ate this whole
everything
pizza. I'm
everywhere.
proud of myself.
Oh, that's also an.
I ate the whole thing.
Floating on the screen.
Huh?
Never done that.
That's the ghost orb.
For every stream, click it. No!
Okay.
That'll mess up your follow age. Exclamation follow age. Alright, what are we doing? What do we gotta do next? Have a member of your team escape the ghost during a hunt. Responds to everyone.
EMF.
So we gotta go talk to it?
We can, yeah.
Yeah, I go
Got a spirit box?
for the. Yeah, I have.
What are you doing, Momo?
Going around.
I'm following whoever's
Oh, I
walking
don't do
this way.
anything outside.
Oh yeah, the breaker
What's
is
outside?
still
Sorry,
down.
what?
No ghost riding.
Okay.
Do someone have an ultraviolet thing?
No ultraviolet
Yes?
spirit box.
Yeah, here, have it.
Hello, y'all are welcome.
Then you get spirit box though.
Whoever has the ghost box.
I have the ghost box.
Okay. Huh?
What is the name?
Jim.
There we go.
Jim!
Oh, it's going up.
Careful.
3, It's 3 near the kitchen. I'm scared.
Where are you? How are you?
I
Are you friendly?
Hmm?
Hi. Are you nice?
Box.
How old are you?
Oh god. It works best with the Ouija board.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Hello.
Oh, Hannah means family.
Please don't kill us.
where's the basement, by the way?
I don't want to know.
These ghost hunters had to start somewhere.
Oh, you have to go through the kitchen, through the dining
Through
room,
the
just to the
kitchen.
left, on the other side of the wall. Bye.
I heard something.
Oh,
Yeah.
Flashlight's flashing.
Hey,
Yeah.
no, it's okay.
yeah.
It's just an event.
Look
The
in
door
your
closed. The door's closed.
yeah.
I will say
Look-
this: if he is hunting, the front door shuts and locks. So
Yep.
Look
So if you
in
see-
your journal. Look what I
Look.
did.
What did you
Oh,
do?
you
In the
took a picture of the ghost. Yeah.
I don't see it.
It's
I
in
see
the
a music
back,
box.
you see.
Oh, I see it.
Oh, photos. Oh, gotcha. Heck yeah.
I see it. What is it? Oh, is he carrying the knife?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said. He said he has a.
Ah!
I saw him in the start of the game. It's very creepy.
So what type of ghost has a knife?
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. It's just the way it looks.
So they all look different.
Yeah,
Every
they're all
time?
just- yeah.
Yeah.
Ghosty ghost. Hello. Hello, 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 hello.
Martin. Jim
Is
Martin.
this- I thought his name was Jim.
Jim Martin.
It's in the kitchen.
Jimothy.
Anyone drop a book in the kitchen? Question mark.
Yeah,
Oh
I
god.
already did.
Oh,
I put
Timothy!
2 there.
you could drop the box back inside.
Marky, marky, mark, mark.
Jimothy.
No, I will use it soon.
Hmm.
I'm calling the wrong name.
Hey Jim.
Jim, 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 Jim. Step into a slim Jim, Jim.
Hi, Jimothy.
Mooha!
Oh.
Oh.
Ballsy.
Right, taunted. Da, 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 neater, neater, neater. UV check doors and windows.
Oh.
Windows in the kitchen.
Already did.
Mhm.
I hear a clock. What does that mean?
Yeah. Nothing. There's literally a fucking clock on the wall.
I don't like that. You put the clock on the wall. Why do clocks to make noise like that? This anymore.
Throwing
That's-
stuff at my head. Stupid.
Huh?
Stupid ghost.
the clock is working. Crowley, welcome.
There's an orb in the kitchen.
Yeah.
If I die,
Uh-huh.
take a picture of my body.
Yeah. Okay.
I cannot open the box.
Oh. That's okay.
Are you
Wait.
used it already?
Mhm. I think
Yeah.
she
Mona
had
used
it.
I think.
It's
What?
useless.
Oh, you used the music box?
I just yeah.
Yeah,
That's when it
then
first attacked us.
Yep.
It was not an attack, but you
Or it first
can pray
triggered it.
to the timer, because if you done that without the timer,
Spooks.
it will kill you.
Mm,
Without a timer?
yeah,
Yeah.
So while we were
In the
like
first
trying to
5
find us,
minutes.
yeah. Yeah, we were okay because we got it. 5 minutes.
We
Oh,
were
my
okay
Senate-
because it was in the first 5 minutes? That's what you said?
It was in the 5
Yeah.
Mhm.
minutes. If it
So we didn't
was
die.
not, then
Ah.
it's one to hunt.
But he was right there at the door. Like he was like, "Get the fuck out!"
They can't. Yeah, they can't leave the house.
Good.
Do.
I'm gonna lurk while making numbs. Okay, thank you for lurking. I need another pizza. Just kidding.
Oh, that was you guy.
Oh,
Yeah, ghost
spirit
box.
Spirit
Right there.
box.
He
So
said
it's an
to me in.
Onrai.
Yeah. I stand there with the box. I ask him, Jim, are you here? I'm right here. What?
Yes. Extinguishing a flame can cause it to attack, and when threatened, it's actually less likely to hunt. Interesting. But it is often referred to the wrathful spirit. It steals souls from dying victims' bodies to seek revenge. This ghost has been known to fear any form of fire and will do anything to be far from it.
Mm.
So should we light the fireplace and see what happens?
No.
Is that the thing you can do?
No,
That'd be cool.
essentially,
don't
like,
have
if
a
you
light.
have a candle, you could have it. Like, that would have been a good thing to have. Because it would have been threatened.
Oh, I got a car key. I want to see the car. Go away.
She's taking pictures.
I just took a
Oh,
picture, you guys.
selfie!
It's fine.
Do we
Play
put all this
with
stuff
the door.
back? Can we use it again? Or is it like
It will come back if you not die. If you
Yeah.
died, someone needs to make a picture of your body. Then you get
Yeah.
insurance.
And someone,
Oh.
because we didn't have cameras, couldn't get pictures of my body.
I've camera.
Yeah, we do. But we're not dead now.
Uh,
Do you like that pretty picture that I took of Mono? It's great. It's beautiful.
I see only their hat.
I don't know where it goes.
Oh, it's linked. It's linked together.
Yeah!
What?
Yeah, I took a picture of Mono. That's the one at the top.
What?
How do you put these things back?
Oh, gee, you can just drop it. It's fine. Okay. Alright, so I got all the evidence and I got my ghosty type selected.
Everyone have the same thing.
Unreal,
left.
right?
Unreal,
Yep.
yeah. You got it, Mono?
I gotta mark
Ghost
it.
orb, ghost orbs, spirit
Evidence.
box, and freezing temps.
Yeah.
Wait, we have to do other stuff too? No.
The
No
evidence.
ghost riding, no ultraviolet.
Yeah,
Nope.
so you just want to make sure that freezing temps, ghost orb, and spirit box are selected.
And we don't want to cross out the others? Does that help?
You don't have
Does
to.
it-
No,
Okay.
No.
you don't have to.
It's more when you are searching that you
Mm.
can scratch the things you
Yeah.
don't have to.
Okay.
Yep.
And then you
So-
can click here on the
Pen. Keypad.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Alright, let's go.
Uh-huh.
We did it. We survived with more sanity this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Less screaming.
But last time we go for that.
Oh, it wasn't the correct ghost.
No?
What the fuck?
I wonder what it was.
The mimic, it says.
Oh.
So it mimicked the Unreal?
Mimics are
Mm.
very good at that. Interesting.
So how can you distinguish that it is a mimic?
Let's see. Ghost, mimic, spirit box, ultraviolet, and freezing temps. So it's interesting we didn't get the ultraviolet. But the mimic is an elusive, mysterious copycat ghost that mirrors traits and behaviors from others, including other ghost types. Strength. We're unsure what this ghost is capable of. Be careful. Weakness. Several reports have noted ghost orbs sightings near mimics. So that's why, because we thought the ghost orbs.
Yeah.
Because we
It's a
got what?
tricky one though.
Yeah.
It's one of the new ones
Mhm.
because the old ones don't have more things than only the
Mm.
3 things you need.
Mhm. So next time we gotta double check that there aren't fingerprints anywhere else.
But the ghost interacts 39 times in that little time that we are there.
Yeah.
Mm. I'm quickly gonna grab a drink.
Yeah, no, okay.
Okay.
No worries.
Stretch break.
Yeah, but
Stretch break. Chat. Stretch. Oh, I'm gonna hit things. Stretch if you need to.
My coffee is
I'm
done.
gonna hold my shirt down a little bit.
Coffee? Oh.
No, I'm wearing a crop top.
Coffee would be lovely, but I better not. I won't sleep at
Coffee
all.
would be lovely. That's why I haven't had an Alani, because I
Alright. Never sleep again?
be nice. I'll sit here and play with my Pokemon cards.
Pika pika. I'm almost level 4. Blah.
Thank you. I'm still level 2.
I set myself already. Ready. I gonna take something to drink.
Hmm.
hello.
Hello? Nine, three.
It's kind of stupid that the mimic already like shows up when you're a beginner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because also when you are level 100, you can play amateur.
Mm.
Like otherwise, the high people go to play the easy stuff
Mhm.
and it's randomly choosing which ghost type it is.
Mm. So cool.
But it's for my the first time that I see that ghost.
Yeah.
And like if I show my screen for a sec, if it's want to work.
There's weird markings here on the floor.
Yep.
What do they do?
I don't know.
Ooh, I can use my capture device.
Hmm. For what?
That on Discord. It's new. You can use your
Hmm.
capture device.
That's cool.
Yeah. Now I use my Elgato to share my screen.
So it's less heavy on your system.
Yeah. But
That's really cool.
that was my level before I prestiged. And
Before they forced us to prestige.
did this was the first time I found the mimic. Huh? Almost 150 levels gone, but now the first time.
Hmm.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you won't be able to see it on your end, Momo.
What?
Oh, the plaque that he's talking about, you won't be able to see it on your end because you don't have it.
Huh?
Yes, the prestige plaque. I wonder when you can prestige again.
I don't know. Because that just says before the date of August 17th, 2023. That's when they did the major update. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Are these things you can find in the game? Why isn't the music box here?
Oh, you don't need it.
But no.
No,
think-
it's bone stuff like a skull. If you
But
see
this
here,
this literally says music box.
Oh,
yeah.
And there's
Huh.
no
Here.
music box.
let me see.
Oh, I think you need to throw the music box in the van.
Oh, interesting.
That's a neat.
Into what?
In the
You
van.
take it with you so you can put it back
Oh.
in the vitrine or whatever you call it.
So we're supposed to collect things and take them back with us?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, some little trophy thing.
So we're thieves?
Yep.
Sort of. But
Does that
the
surprise
music
you, Momo?
box, the music box is an cursed object. You
Mm-hmm.
can also find some cards. It's funny though. The cards you can use more times, and if you have luck or bad luck, you get the first time you take a card. The name on the card is dead. It will hunt and it will kill.
Yeah.
Card?
Yeah, if
No.
you tarot cards.
Yeah.
Oh.
If you use the card and on the card stands dead, then
Mm.
it will kill one of the people inside of the house.
Well, Lady Rain's already been killed once. I don't know if we want to get her killed again.
How does it look when you get killed? Like, is it like a Mori or is it like less?
It's grabbing your
It just
screen
grabs you. Yeah.
from
it
the
comes-
side,
Yeah.
but
That's it.
slowly and scary.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not like super
A
gory
jump.
or anything.
No, it's
It's
not.
more
I
of a
don't
jump
mind
scare.
gore. I just don't like getting into my face.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
But
you
it does
don't
that,
like
doesn't it?
jump scare things. No, it's grabbing the side of your screen, and then you come in a room and see the ghost standing there. Then you
So do we have
run
like
back.
ghost orbs in this room, or is this just dust bunnies flying around?
Dust bunnies. Those are just dust bunnies.
I'm paranoid.
That's what I saw on the camera too. I thought it was just dust.
Nope.
It was bigger than dust. Yeah,
Just a little bit bigger than dust.
just a little. Just a tad.
Looks like dust. Now
Yeah,
next
but the
time
thing
you
is,
are...
if like a speck of dust gets in front of the camera, it's pretty big on the camera. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Well, but in the distance that it was, not.
Are
But
we
it's
doing another
funny.
one?
I mean, we can.
I'm-
Guys.
Yeah,
I am
one more at
already
least.
ready
One
up.
more, and then I'll have to go to bed. I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be able to
Dang.
sleep.
Nope.
Okay, none of us.
Just be walking to the kitchen. I'm hearing noises. I'm like, oh,
No.
I mean, you could always just hunt down legs. He's in the same country.
I'm gonna sleep with the lights on. Yeah, go tap on his window, freak him out.
I think
Shine a
don't
flashlight through his window and make it flicker.
I don't know if you guys are on the same side of the country, but
No clue.
Alright, let's not talk about locations while we're live, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll stop you guys overhead. And then we'll wait on Rain.
I don't know if
Oh.
she is close to me.
She's reading cards, and I don't wanna. She's trying to read our fate on the tarot cards there.
No,
Wait, what?
they're Pokemon
Oh.
cards.
Pokemon cards, okay.
Yeah, we're reading the fate on the Pokemon cards.
Okay, that's better.
You gonna die.
Oh my god.
Shogun.
Places with 3 floors? Oh fuck no.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's
Scared.
the basement, the
Main floor.
main floor, and one floor above.
Mm.
Second.
And most of the times, when you got the basement, basic floor, and on top that,
Oh, catch if you catch a Pokemon.
the sleeping rooms are on top.
Okay. Bedrooms, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
Oops. I didn't realize my caps was on.
She's angrily catching Pokemon. Catch now.
Oh, I deserve to catch it.
Just
I haven't
catch
caught
it.
any.
Pikachu.
What the fuck?
Meow, meow, meow.
Elmo. It's Elmo time. Elmo.
Oh my
Do you
god.
want a hug?
No.
Hug me. Nut, nut. Nut, nut.
I'm still waiting on someone to ready themselves.
Oh, it's probably me.
Yeah.
I think I am thinking I'm ready the whole time.
Oh.
Oh, nothing.
Wavering.
Alright.
Wavering.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, you guys. Gotta vote.
Oh, I don't know how to vote.
Yeah.
I've never
Oh.
voted.
Yeah.
I don't
Wow.
want to. We only have. Mona and me only have 3 of them. So the first 3, I think.
Oh yeah, funny. Do random.
Oh, you guys only have the first 3?
Yeah, we can only see the first 3 houses.
Okay.
Thanks again. Thank you
Oh,
for the
no.
sub
We
with
need
for
to
Twitch Prime. 14
use-
months. Thank you so much, Michigan.
Huh?
Thank you.
You
Me
see
too,
the red
John.
lines on it?
Uh-huh.
If we do an house, you get the next house attached to the same string.
Oh.
But we just
Like-
did Ridgecourt and we did Tanglewood already.
If we do like
So, like, if you did Tanglewood, you get number 4 at the bottom.
We
and
need
if
to
you
do
did
this
Ridgecourt,
one.
you get level 4.
Which one? Ridgecourt? We just
The
did
blue
that,
one.
didn't we?
no,
No,
We
we
did-
did Willow Street, that's right.
yeah.
Okay.
Now they
We'll get the next one to the right. Okay.
I think you need to get the ghost also right to get the next house.
Right. Yeah.
You
we
won't
need
be
to
able to
level 4.
sleep, right?
Yeah, level 4?
Oh yeah, that makes
No,
sense.
we are level 3, but if we get level
True.
4, then we get the 4th house. It says.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. That totally makes sense.
So that and then one next to that is level 6, and then bottom left is 8.
We need to ready again.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
wait. So level 4 is the one right of Ridgeview Court, and
Mhm.
below Edgefield Road is also level 4,
Okay.
like right below it.
But this game is not so scary.
It is.
It's only scary when the ghost is randomly standing next to you.
Yeah, when it comes out of nowhere. Right?
No! Ah! See
Alright.
that?
Mono, you
Got it
need to
ready.
ready
Save
up
us,
again.
please.
Again?
No.
Yeah, because we looked at
Yeah.
the map. It unreadies
Oh, I didn't know.
right.
You know what doesn't
Let's
help?
go.
When we started, there's a garage. No.
Building has a real history of
Yeah.
death.
Yeah, when we
Who
started
sold the
playing,
building to claim its next victims?
a little like miniature like keycap I had.
Tip: don't stay in the
like,
dark too
slid
long.
down my monitor stand as well. So it was like out of nowhere. It was just like whee.
Oh,
It fell
no.
down.
Scared.
Fuck that.
Something like that. Oh my god, you're merged! Print screen.
Alright, so we need to witness a ghost event, capture a photo, and average 25%.
Look at the chat in Discord.
Save us, please.
Boo.
Alright, let's see. Take that.
Oh, Discord.
Mono.
Alright.
Oh, crazy Gray.
Mono's head is like inside the
I take this. Oh, if you watch now to the screen here, you see the counter there, the 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. In that time, the ghost is not hunting.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's your safe time. That's because
Where?
we
Oh,
play
that timer right there.
amateur.
Here.
Timer up top, yeah.
So it takes him 5 minutes to start hunting.
Yes, after we open the door.
After the 5 minutes, it can hunt.
So you want
It's
to place
not
all your
like 5
cameras and
minutes
everything like that in the first 5
in
minutes.
the 5 minutes, and then it's okay.
Okay, so everybody grab a camera.
Yeah, I have my
The
thing.
camera? What is that?
Ask what a camera was.
Yeah.
The cameras are here. There's like 3
Everyone-
That's the camcorder. You can only hold 3 things,
Oh, we
right?
need to have a ghost event.
Yep.
We need to average of 50
25
or
I guess.
25. Yeah, 25, and capture a picture of the ghost. I'm good in that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's go.
You know, you don't want to take video cameras, guys?
But you can only
Uh,
carry 3
not
things
yet,
each.
Not until we know what the room is.
I mean, somebody took one and they could place it.
Okay, wait, we're opening the door. So the first 5 minutes we can go like yeet everywhere.
Yeah.
You can
It
turn on the
will show
lights.
itself, but
It's not gonna
not
hunt. It's
hunting.
just gonna scare us.
Okay.
Who's gonna open it?
It's closed. It said it's locked. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
someone has the key.
Alright, let's go. I didn't
So-
catch the name of it, but that's okay.
Same. Oh, we got a bone. We got the
Sweet.
hand.
Why are you
I-
taking
How many pictures can you take? I don't know, why not?
Because I don't think it
You
was
don't-
unlimited, was it?
Nope.
It don't want? What?
We don't have unlimited photos.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well I took 2. And of course the kitchen. It's always the kitchen.
Oh my god. It scared me. Garage.
So what do the fingerprints and stuff look like with the... Is that what you use the glow stick for?
Fingerprints. Yeah.
There's an oil
But-
leak at the car.
Yeah, sounds about right. Probably hasn't been used in a while.
I'm searching for the curse stuff, but is someone playing with the piano?
Yeah, that was
Okay.
me.
Mama! No.
The ghost will do it also.
Yeah.
That's the
I
reason
figured.
I asked.
Did you take a picture of the bones?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, you need to take the bones with you as well, right?
Right. Yep.
Oh my god,
Yep.
who's in the basement? Fucking.
I don't know.
Oh, what the fuck is that?
Oh,
sound?
fingerprints? No, that's not fingerprints.
Okay. It's just hanging out.
What's hanging out?
A ghost. Alright.
Where?
I don't know.
There's 2 basements?
No.
Why is there's a basement too then?
It's not.
Oh, is that the basement?
Is it in the kitchen again?
I swear to
Nope.
God. I didn't get anything in the kitchen. Maybe it's upstairs?
It was me, it was me. I turned on the TV.
Momo!
I'm
Alright.
just turning on everything.
Who wants to go upstairs with me?
Mm-hmm. Okay, I have a camera.
Who
Let's go.
did he just break the
Yep,
The
breaker?
breaker is down.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm scared.
Alright, let's come outside then. And we'll
Should I put the camera somewhere?
I don't know.
In the kitchen?
No,
I don't know.
I searched for the place, but when
Maybe
the
it's
breaker
upstairs?
is down, every room is colder than normal.
Yeah, alright,
I have the meter thingy.
Don't turn on everything.
Yeah, we only
Because
get so
if
many.
you
Down
use
this hallway.
every light,
I'm
then
with you. I'm behind you.
Okay, thank God. Alright, do I have anything in
Just
here? I don't
let me
see
know where
anything.
you're going. No, there's no
going to the left.
activity.
Yeah, I'm like watching for it. Anything in here? No, I can't open it. Cool. What was that? I don't know. Anything in there? I don't see anything. Alright, in here.
There's a basketball here or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Can that
Fuck.
be something?
I don't know.
Oh, spiking! Oh, it's spiking in this corner.
yeah,
I'm scared.
it's
I don't know
here.
where are we
Like
going?
the temps
here.
are dropping.
Okay, yeah, it wasn't
Okay,
in
it's
the
gone.
EMF
It's
5.
gone.
It's okay.
Is it this room?
The
I'm
spiking
scared.
is gone.
Nope. It's the
not here.
hallway, I guess.
I think.
Is
Upstairs
that
hallway.
a thing?
Yeah, it
It's
can
a-
be.
Wait.
Then it is here in this.
It's upstairs. Is there anything in the
Yeah.
drawers? Can y'all move out of the way? I can't see.
What about
the
this
drawers.
closet?
No, there's nothing in the closet.
It's
Oh, hey.
all.
Oh, you're freezing temp. Sorry, I saw
Nope.
the smoky.
Nope. It's
No, it's just smoky.
5
It's just the room.
Celsius.
Oh, spikes a bit. It's in the closet.
No.
But
Yeah,
I go
it is.
towards the closet, it spikes.
It's not freezing.
We're getting some activity here. So we know it's up here in this area. Alright, so I'm gonna
I'm
close
gonna
that
put the
closet.
camera
Whoa.
here.
Okay.
How can I turn it around? Oh, I just yeeted it. Oh, no. Does that work? It's glitching through the wall. Where's everybody?
Oh, we're
Downstairs.
Sorry.
Fuck me. We're going down.
I'm
No,
here.
she's down here already. Come on.
Oh.
I am
They just went
collecting.
without me. These fuckers.
Sorry.
I am
Oh,
collecting
shit.
new
I was like,
stuff.
Missing it.
where the fuck is everybody?
Ah.
I am collecting new
Getting
stuff.
so much again. I hope you're watching.
I put the camera down, but I don't think it worked. Oh, it might. How do you switch the swap camera? It doesn't really swap. It says mouse. Oh wait, this mouse. Don't. Oh, it's glitching and it's showing the outside of the house. Wow. Wow, it's
Oh,
glitching
no,
through
so
the
there's
wall.
a camera outside, but oh, is that what's happening?
Yep. Yep, that's the camera. It's glitching in the wall. Very helpful.
That's so very helpful.
Yeah, I'll take another one.
It's almost 0.
Wait, we're still at under 5 minutes?
I don't know.
Do
No.
we have...
No.
Is it time up?
Yeah, time's up. It says 0.
Okay.
I'm too scared to go upstairs now.
The rain is at 77.
Am I the lowest?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I am. Alright, let's go. If I die, I die. I'm sorry, guys. Just make sure you take a picture of me.
I'm behind you with the camera.
Alright,
Wait, what if I put it here on the floor?
Hello?
Hold up
Mono.
here. Hold up here, guys.
Randomly.
Hello? Hola, señor. ¿Cómo estás?
Hello, are you up here?
Welcome, Raiders!
I'm hiding in the closet.
Welcome, Raiders! Welcome, Standard! Thank you so much for that raid, guys! Nico, Nico, Nee! Welcome, welcome, welcome!
It'll do something with the
How do I
EMF.
turn
Can I get a
that
shout out for
off?
Standard, guys?
I don't
Thank
know.
you so much for that raid.
Holding the F and then turn your mouse.
Oh, okay.
Welcome. How is your night, love? It is good. I'm getting scared. I've never played this game before. So, it's been interesting. Why the door just shut?
Leech, stop doing that.
I don't know
I
how
will
the
say
freaking doors.
that it's not as scary when you have friends with you.
Yeah, I can imagine it'd be really scary by yourself. But yeah, hi,
Okay,
welcome everyone. Welcome,
Did
welcome,
I
welcome.
put the camera right now? What? What did it?
Nope.
No, there's another one.
There we go.
That's my one.
Oh, but yes.
Camera
How is your stream,
Yeah,
Standard?
go
Oh, it's
sword.
open! The closet opened!
Yeah, and also saw a ghost orb there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Last scene playing 7 Days to Die. Nice. Nice, nice,
That's a good
nice.
one.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
okay.
Did we actually have
Yes.
a freezing
Ghost orb.
temperature thing?
Ghost orbs.
No.
I don't think so. No.
No.
Okay.
So what are we marking? Ghost orbs and
Yes, just ghost orbs.
wrong page.
Monty.
Evidence. Have you played this before, Standard? Tell me you've played this because I
Hit the closet, you say.
Lay down, Papa. Yeah,
Yeah, the closet
door.
door.
Jar.
I hear water.
You hear water?
Oh,
Yeah.
the sink.
Yeah, I hear a sink.
Is it that
What does
sink?
that mean?
It's
Is the
a
ghost
child.
like water?
I don't like this one. I hear child.
Okay, so
It's
it's that
laughing.
ball. The ball that's right there that I said there's a ball right there. That's the cursed object, probably.
Ball?
There was a ball on the floor.
Yeah, the
Okay.
basketball
It's
on
at
the floor.
yeah, it's on the bottom of the stairs.
Oh, so it rolled down the
Turn
stairs?
the fucking shower on.
Interesting. I thought it was a sink. Normally is.
Ah, spooky, spooky, spooky. So yeah, welcome everyone. Welcome to my
I
stream.
don't see
Thank
the
you, thank
ball
you,
at the
thank
bottom
you.
of the stairs, though.
If it is your first time here, I'm a
Yeah.
variety streamer. I stream all kinds of games. I like to paint Pokemon. Lately, I've been doing a lot of Pokemon streams, working on
Lay down.
a ghost evolution of Eevee in the background right here that you can't see very good, but yeah, right there. So I'll be live painting that again soon. And also tomorrow, I'm going to be playing Stardew Valley. So tune in for a ghost farm Stardew Valley if you're interested. All the animals will be
Trying to
ghost
open
and spooky.
Okay, I took the ball outside. Oh.
You took it outside?
No, the ball is no curse thing.
No?
No. There are some things like an Ouija board or that kind of stuff.
Just in case. Eat.
I don't want to go in there by myself. What am I thinking?
Who placed the cup there? I need to throw the cup away.
Yeah. I love how you're playing with the ball.
I'm trying to place it, but it doesn't stay. It rolls.
It just looks like you're playing with it.
Oh, no!
So who's walking up the stairs? Oh, somebody put the cup in front of the camera?
Yeah.
Or did the ghost
Did
put the
the
cup
ghost
in
do
front of
it?
the camera?
Hold on. This is me.
I could hear you guys.
What is the name?
It's Eva Mills.
Jeez. So how do we not hear him when he calls out to the
oh,
ghost?
because we
Because
already
we
have
muted
him
the-
muted in the game.
Yeah.
Oh, but I should be able to hear him on the Discord.
No, because he has it set up to where it'll
It's
mute him
freezing.
on Discord. Okay. Freezing temps we got. So we're back to those 4 that we originally had. So we need to rule out.
Hello?
We need to rule out fingerprints to make sure it's not a mimic.
I tried looking for fingerprints earlier, but I didn't see anything.
It's also harder to see if you have your flashlight on.
So freezing and ghost are. Oh, I don't think I did I? Maybe I did.
Oh,
Oh.
wait.
You can try taking one of those cameras and putting it somewhere else, because they're both at the same
I
spot,
thought I saw
basically.
something just go past legs.
I think that was the shade. Not sure.
Is he still upstairs?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we're watching him.
The thing's upstairs, isn't it?
Should be.
Yeah, I'm watching his stream right now.
But you're saying you have to have, like, the lights out to check for fingerprints?
Yeah, you can't really have your flashlight on. It's hard to see him.
So you guys are going up in sanity.
Oh.
Oh no, your sanity is dropping.
Yeah, he's got quite a bit of activity, but it's not 5. It's getting up to like 3.5, 4 EMF. Like spikes.
How are you supposed to see where you're going to go check fingerprints?
Wasn't it like windows and such?
Doors and windows, yeah.
Hmm.
Doors and windows.
I'm watching stream to see what his EMF looks like. I'm glad I dropped it there for him.
So, if it's a Hantu, it's faster when it's cold, and it's slower when it's warm. Okay. Yeah.
That's like a. There's a basement down there.
Yure has a stronger effect on the sanity. Smudging the Yure's place of death will trap it temporarily. But we don't know where they died yet, probably.
Well, we have an idea, and it's where it's at, like where.
Oh, we don't have smudge sticks and such, probably. Yeah.
No,
A revenant will travel at significantly faster speed when hunting. Okay. If you hide, it will move very slowly.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we have Onlyo. Oh, that's the flame thing, right? Yeah.
Don't like seeing in the dark.
Oh, it's okay. It's fine. I'm going.
Oh.
There's a picture of a bone, but there's no bone in it. That's weird.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did we
that's
grab it?
Yeah, I grabbed it.
Okay.
It's 57. What was I near?
You were with him.
I was downstairs though.
But there was still ghost activity.
So nobody's seen a ghost yet.
Nope.
I don't want to be the first one.
I want. I want to take a picture of it.
Oh, what was that?
I just.
Whatever screen that was.
Oh, it was just the outside.
Oh,
Momo just, over there by the door.
moving around.
Just,
Is she communicating with the ghosts?
No.
just between the door.
These flashlights are the worst.
I'm just taking all the fucking
Legs, thank you
Oh,
so much
that's
for
a
gifting
fun
his thumb to Bloody. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Legs. Thank you,
God.
thank you, thank you.
Hey!
Much
Whoever's carrying the
appreciated.
camera, hell yeah.
Huh?
Are you carrying the video camera?
Yeah.
Yeah, keep going.
I'm scared though.
Follow him. You're okay.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you're okay. You're fine.
Thanks for the high five, five.
Why are there cups on the floor everywhere?
Oh, because they were in the way.
Yeah, the ghosts do that. Throw that there.
Oh my god, you're crouching. That was creepy as fuck on the camera.
It's actually kind of interesting watching you in the night vision.
So what is he looking for? Particular
Oh
legs.
right, you can see the live view. Oh, I see foggy breaths.
Yeah. Somewhere.
Eva?
Where these... Oh, I just saw the ghost.
Where?
Did you?
On the camera. Yeah. On the camera on the desk. I just
Eva?
watched it go by,
Legs?
Wait, one sec.
yeah.
So it's between the closet and the hallway, right there in front of Legs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why you?
Here, ghosty ghost. Hello? What's the ghost's name?
Eva.
Eva. Eva.
I thought I heard
Eva.
2 times in the ghost box the voice, but at that moment everybody is talking.
Oh no. Sorry.
The floor
I just
squeaks.
saw her again.
Yep.
Did you?
You saw it
Yeah.
again?
Yeah, she
How-
went from the where the closet is back over to the hallway.
So is she like invisible to us?
But
Yeah,
I'm looking
see?
through the camera and I didn't see her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just saw her walk down the hallway too.
What the fuck?
I wanted to take a photo of it, but I don't know when she's by. So if you tell me, I can take a photo.
Dots. I think we're picking up
Yes.
on dots.
It's dots.
So it's a Uri.
Oh, wrong thing.
Yeah.
Dang it.
How do you see the dots?
Cause I'm watching it from the camera, out in the truck.
Oh, you think the dots are picking up the ghost?
Yeah, that's the only way I could see her.
Oh.
That's why you guys can't see her on your cameras. Momo, your lights are not helping.
Mm-hmm. Too scared.
You guys can come outside.
Why did it suddenly stop?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Because it stopped.
super insane.
I
Oh my god!
Uh-oh! Door just shut.
You're okay. Shh. You guys are
Turn
okay.
off your light.
There it is. Yep, turn off the light.
I'm
Okay,
dead.
you guys are okay. You're good. Are you dead?
Yep.
Where at?
Close by the basement.
Shit,
Okay.
how do I turn off the flashlight?
Guys,
It's-
you can come
See.
out because she's not hunting anymore. I'm gonna take a picture.
It's in front of the basement.
Okay.
Oh, That sound. She made like the. Oh no, that was your dying sound. The,
That's right. Where was that?
No.
In the basement. That's where we ran to. Was that corner?
Oh,
We ran to his
oh,
body.
Guys,
he's-
No.
she's throwing plates now.
No, she's not. That's legs.
I thought you died. What?
He did. But as a
It-
spirit, he can.
Fuck you!
I will
Don't
be
do
a
that
dick.
to us.
It killed my teammate. We should leave. That's what it says.
Oh really?
Yeah. Alright. Well, I got a picture of him, so we'll get evidence.
So we got
Or
the hots?
insurance. Yep.
So it's. But do we rule out the mimic?
I couldn't find any.
The fingerprints, so then yeah, we'll be okay. Thank you. Legs. I appreciate it.
So what did we decide it was then? Anything?
Wait,
Uri.
Yure.
Yura.
Uri. Yeah.
And what did you mark off?
It is dots. We want dots.
Thoughts.
Did we find
Okay.
any cursed chisels?
No.
Huh?
I love how I'm
Here.
playing fetch with the ghost of legs.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Wait, are you
yeah.
here as a ghost too? Can you get
Yeah.
out of the house?
Yeah.
Oh.
It killed
You
my
can
teammate. We should leave.
You guys
Yeah.
wanna close the thing?
So what is that on the ground then? Is that just somebody laying there?
Oh yeah,
Wait.
yeah. Yeah. Do you see the thing that killed my teammate? We should leave.
Mm.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about this other photo of something on the floor.
The round
I
one?
don't know. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
Oh, that
supposed
was
to
the
be a picture
bone
of the bone.
one. Yeah.
Alright. Let's go. I
Okay.
think we got it.
Okay.
No. Aw. The sanity was close.
Oh really?
It's okay.
Oh shit, it was really close. Yeah.
Oh well.
Next time we know.
Mhm. Heck
That's
yeah.
a good one.
Hey.
So did we get to level 4? Nope. Oh maybe.
You died.
I
we
got
did.
to level
Min-
3.
Ah,
Oh,
I got
and I
70.
unlocked photo camera. Heck yeah.
Farmhouse accept.
Ooh,
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, we got
jeez.
the farmhouse of
Yay,
Bleasdale
that's
and
it.
Grafton.
I'm
Oh.
almost level 4.
Heck yeah.
I'm level
I'm
4.
a little idiot sometimes.
Mm.
Yeah, but I died. I get
You did.
minus 50.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Because you're the brave one of us.
Yeah.
Rain just had bad luck when she died.
I
Yeah.
don't
That was
give
it
a
for me
shit
though.
about
I need to
those.
get some sleep. So at least I'm closing the game.
Alrighty.
I'm gonna drink my drink, but I'm already closing the game just so you know.
It's okay.
I'm so done with the game.
Sorry. It was more fun than I thought. I was worried. But I actually had a good time. I thought I was going to get really seasick, but I didn't. Surprisingly. Now, if you guys want to do one more, or do you want to sleep?
Farmhouse.
Oh, I already left, so.
Okay, so we're done then. Oh.
I mean, you could restart it.
No. I probably need to calm down so I can actually sleep tonight because,
Yeah.
you know, I'm going to get off here and every noise in the house is going to
Yeah,
go
same.
bump, bump, click, knock.
Things that
Just
could
when
be
we took
easy.
that little break, just me walking through the house, I was hearing things and being like,
Paranoid.
Same.
no.
I,
It's like, I don't want this.
I went downstairs with my flashlight on my phone because everything's already like dark downstairs, and I was like,
So you're
"Oh,
gonna need
please
some
don't flicker,
sounds?
Please don't flicker. Yeah.
Nice.
Because I was going to bed already before starting the game, right? So I already.
Alright, how do I
closed
exit this
everything.
thing?
Sad.
Leave game. Okay, that was pretty fun. I would play it again. I'm glad you guys talked me into playing it because I've just been so scared of it. I wouldn't play it.
Yeah,
And
it's really not as
also,
scary as it seems.
also when I changed those settings, I didn't get seasick like I was afraid of, motion sick like I was afraid of. So I did really well with that. It might have helped that I ate a whole pizza too, but
That does help a little bit.
I don't know. I could get sick because I ate a whole pizza and had a glass of wine. I don't know. Let's not make that part a habit though. Eating a whole pizza.
You gotta drink to handle the things. Just
I know. I needed drink and I needed food, and that was the only way this was gonna happen.
I need like
Yeah.
something to calm me down now.
Stardew. Need some Stardew Valley to calm down.
Yo.
The ghosts. But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching the stream. I will be on tomorrow doing some Stardew Valley Ghost Farm at some point. So stay tuned on social media.
I won't be present because I have D&D.
No, Ray's got D&D because she's a slacker. So yeah, if you guys want to join me on some Stardew Valley, feel free. You'll be at a party, Momo?
Yep.
Yeah, Momo's at a party. Rain's got D&D party, so it might be me and Lemon. I gotta find out if Lemon's busy. It might be me and Lemon. We might be playing some Stardew Valley.
If you guys are still live when I get home, I'll play.
Okay. You might be.
I probably will.
What time do you leave? Just curious. You leave early though,
So our D&D is 5 to 9.
So it's pretty early. It's pretty early, okay. Because I was like, maybe I should do an early stream. And then I was like, maybe I could play before she goes, but that would be super early then. It would have to be like noon or something. And then you would be like, still asleep. Nap time.
Depends. It definitely depends on the day, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I know you work every day, but you might be napping at that point, so.
I don't know. It varies.
I'm getting picked up at like 5 p.m. already.
Oh, nice. So that'll be like forever ago in my time zone. It's like it's like 8 in the morning for me. Just kidding.
Honestly, yeah. Very close to.
Yep.
Maybe.
I think you're like 7 hours difference, honestly.
It's 4:30 here now.
Yeah. It's 10:30 here.
Okay. It's 6 hours.
What is 9:30 here?
So we're 6 hours, and when is daylight savings time for you?
We don't
like
have
next
it
week?
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have it anymore.
Really?
Yep. So
They
we don't fall back
abolished it?
now. Yeah.
You don't?
No, we don't fall back anymore, Mona.
We don't? Since when? We riot and we refuse? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
so
a
now
whole
you're
thing. It
stuck
literally
with-
started this year.
What?
You're stuck with an early dark winter and stuff like that now.
Okay. I thought it changed in November.
I remember they talked about it too, like everywhere in the Netherlands as well, and they had us vote on it. Like we were able to vote, like, do we want to keep it or do we want to abolish it? And I think most people want to keep it, but here's the sucky part: like most of Europe is in the same time zone, right? Like, for example, Netherlands, Germany, France, we're all in the same time zone. Italy, whatever. So if another country is like Belgium is like, oh, we want to abolish it, and the Netherlands has it, then you can go back an hour by just driving 10 minutes.
Okay, so
that's crazy.
We are gonna fall back.
Oh, you are? Oh.
Yeah.
Because we're on daylight savings time right now.
Yeah,
no.
The idea was not to fall back at all.
Because we're on daylight savings time now, or no?
And they didn't want to fall back, but as far as we know, there hasn't been any significant action, so no telling.
So nobody made a decision on any of it. And we're stuck repeating the same stuff until the end of time.
Yep.
If I could turn back town.
Right?
Legit though.
Needs you're even in the dark with this spoopy ass game. Jeez.
Yep. I figured it was dark enough. It's blue here.
There's a fucking
You know.
It's blue now, but in the second game I turned it off.
Yeah.
Yep, you were in the dark.
Alright, guys. Well, I'm going to end stream. You guys are awesome. Thank you for being here. Say bye, everyone. And I hope to catch you guys tomorrow. Well, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for the hype. Good night. No, you are Momo. You are special. We have proven that tonight. Good night. Good night, chat. Good night, everyone. I will catch you guys tomorrow. Stay tuned. See you then.